Hey, folks, how's it going?
Hello.
Oh, yes.
Okay. I do not.
I know Shakespeare pretty well, and I'm not placing that. Gotcha. Not one of the ones I go to regularly.
No, I don't really like either one of you. I'm just pretending to for the bounty points. That's all I'm here for.
Harsh.
uh,
My
no,
heart.
we've been talking about our various quarantine survival plans. And like for me, I'm a freelancer. I work from home, so I'm missing out on like one thing a week. Is really my only lifestyle change. In that, like once a week, I don't go game with my buddies. But last night, we finally got it to work on Discord, so we were able to actually play our regular L5R campaign with everybody at home. We found a really cool die roller for Discord that rolls the custom Fantasy Flight dice for it and stuff. And so yeah, it was nice to kind of get back into that groove a little bit and socialize a little more. But for me, being used to being at home, this has actually been kind of an uptick in social activity because so many more of my friends are at home now and are stir crazy that like they're starting up new campaigns or they're just hanging out on social media more. We've been playing a lot of Lords of Waterdeep. It's like a D&D, it's a board game, but we play it on Steam. So like I've had more of my friends on there because they're at home and bored. And so like for me, I'm like, yeah, I'm actually like hanging out with more people now that everyone is stuck at home. So it's been an interesting kind of inversion of social distancing for me. All right. I'm up to 2 whites, 2 blues now, so that's not too bad at all.
Ooh. I've got a total now of 5 whites and 2 blues. This is the first time I think I've had a blue.
Nice. While you're adjusting, we want to chat about some bounty that we spent. All right. I'm going to let Miss McDade go first since I was jawing about social distancing. She can go first on bounty.
So far I've just leveled up spirit. I think after last session and my wrestling with whatever's inside me, other than God, I think I'm going to need a little higher spirit. So I went with that. I still have some bounty to spend, but I'm thinking of choosing something cool and new from the Book of the Dead, and that's going to take more time than right now to figure that out. So That's me.
I just spent some bounty to improve a couple of skills, or aptitudes, excuse me. I improved guts, which is what you use for basically just fear checks. I've got that up to a 5, trying to kind of make up for the fact that I've only got a D6 in that. But I bought that, up to 5, so hopefully I've got pretty good odds of getting a splody dice in there, because I feel like we've seen some creepy stuff lately, and Ollie's kept his cool. And then I dropped some bounty to buy up my overawe, which is the intimidate aptitude, because last episode I stared down the devil in Miss McDade, and that felt pretty cool for my first real overawe attempt. So I felt like buying that up a little bit better. So yeah, I basically bought up some stuff to help Ollie be a little more spooky and stand against spooky stuff a little more. So just kind of a morale shift, I think, has been our overall theme.
I don't appreciate being called spooky stuff.
Well, try being less spooky then.
No.
Well, all right, let's do this.
Three lines.
I don't remember that. What'd I do?
No.
Trains.
No, I was talking about Sarah's camera, but yeah, it looks like. Yeah, you're coming through just fine in Discord. You got our videos thrown off there. Okay, there we go.
It does say it's my microphone. What happens if I push that button? Oh, hey, look, that fixed it. Woo! Now Rusty is silent? Oh my goodness.
Me?
Try it again, Sarah.
Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me okay, chat? Okay, they can
looks
hear me.
like they can hear you. Can you guys still not hear me? Let's find out in a second
Still no Rusty, guys?
when Twitch catches up. Oh,
Oh,
there we
now
go.
Rusty is loud.
All right,
Okay.
well, that's the kind of Rusty.
I will make sure to make adjustment there. Let's try that. Let's try that. All right. Hopefully, if you guys, while we're going, if you're like, hey, Rusty's so loud we can't hear, we can't really understand him, I can make some adjustments on this end. I apologize. We're swapping from one show to the next is a first for me. And that's all the apology I got for you. This is the first time moving forward. Wow. So the players all heard the description, so I'll just do this again. In the early part of the morning, the train still smoking on the tracks. The surrounding area is mostly gravel because of the way that the train is built up. The hills nearby are grassy and tree covered, providing a decent amount of shade, making a nice cool morning. The trees in the area are browns, dark browns, dark greens, and grays, kind of familiar to those people who've been back east, especially around the Mississippi area. Pine trees around here aren't as tall, but they're still kind of tall-ish. People have gotten off the train and begin wandering about, taking a moment to bring in the environment since the train has come to a complete stop. Our heroes, the posse, Ollie and Ann McDade, along with our friend, what was her name again?
Lorraine?
Yeah.
Exactly. Lorraine have been being a bit idle along the side of the train. So this is probably about 15 to 20 minutes after last game session, just to give you guys an idea. Miss McDade just got finished throwing this crate down the embankment into the stones and the bushes in the river. So that's
Thanks to
much-
Rusty.
She had the idea to get rid of the damn thing, so like we'll take it.
And so now here we are. Trains come to a stop, and everybody's taking a moment to get out and wander around. Now, of course, there was a moment where people were like, oh, it's not safe, don't get out. And the old whiskery man, Whiskey, goes, oh, no, we're far from Indian territory. They ain't going to come this far out. And if they do, it'd be rather rare, and they'd be low in numbers. It's too risky. We're too close to Fort, insert name of U.S. fort nearby, because I don't have that information.
Do your research.
I have a day job. It eats up my time.
I think the level of research you do is perfect, Mr. GM, sir.
That might be worth a bounty.
Rusty, we're fighting now.
All right, well, I'm up by a bounty. So, with Whiskey's reassurance to everyone, Ollie's gonna go, yeah, I'm sure you're right, but I think I'm gonna just hang on to this Winchester anyhow, just in case.
That Winchester was not originally yours. That's the one you got from the Father Cross?
Yes, he
Excellent.
lent it to me, and he has not been here to ask for it back, so I have so far kept it.
We might be lucky enough he'll be showing back up with us to fix that problem.
I'm not sure me having an extra rifle is really a problem.
That's true, but that's my perspective. I refer to a lot of things as problems until they're fixed. All right. Lorraine, of course, is sticking nearby the two of you, and she is still a bit shaken by everything that's gone on. You guys are a bit tougher than she is, so she's definitely scared of all this weird stuff. Or this veteran of the Weird West kind of things that have been going on. Though she has a good understanding of some strangeness herself, this is definitely beyond her expertise. So she's staying as close as she can to Anne, and if possible, she's trying to hold on to your hand. Now, I do know that you're wearing gloves, and that is a concern for you all the time. She's definitely trying to stay close. People are getting out. They're walking around. They seem to have no idea. The rest of the passengers seem to have no idea that something perspired. I mean, they know stuff was going on in the train, the engine, and stuff like that, but I have no idea about the crate or anything else. How do you guys want to move forward from this moment? What do you want to do?
Ollie's primary concern is kind of just riding herd on people. He's going to start kind of thinking of the passengers of the train as like a herd of cattle on a drive, and not let any wander too far from the herd. Like, that's basically his, like, there's safety in numbers out here in the wide open, nothing. So let's make sure everybody stays close. If nobody else is stepping up and taking charge, Ollie will kind of reluctantly do so. But he's going to kind of look around and like hope that maybe Father Cross is acting like an authority figure, or maybe, Bixby, who's not in great shape, but he can maybe still yell at people. Like, he's the railroad guy, so Ollie's going to kind of look around and see if anybody else is speaking up and trying to like keep people organized, and he's kind of hoping that someone else will.
Anne?
Anna's a little nervous after whatever she was fighting inside her. She hasn't felt that since she left home. So she's a little worried that she's on a little bit of the wrong path, because lately God's been guiding her in the right directions, she feels, because she hasn't been struggling with this as much. So I think she's going to kind of search out Father Cross and maybe encourage some prayers together, or even invite some of the others in that are kind of concerned.
And there's a few number of people on the train who are concerned about, what's going on. So they want to do some praying and whatnot. The morning, of course, gives an opportunity for some good morning prayer. And Father Cross sees a decent patch of green grass illuminated by the early morning sun coming through the hills. And he thinks that is the best place, not too far from the train, to have an early morning gathering. Some of the ladies will grab some bread, some tea, and some honey and make their way over that way, toss out some blankets, while the engineer begins laboring with his injury and figuring out what to do next. Bixby, of course, is still succumbed to his injuries. He will take no effort to start controlling people. Malone, wasn't his? Frank, of course.
Frank Malone, who's the Pony Express rider, right?
Yes, he is. He will definitely, with your aid, start to kind of like wander around and keep an eye on people and stuff like that. He will approach you and make mention that he saw only a few people move over that way. And he's going to go to the back of the train and hang out near the caboose just to keep an eye out. He remembers his days being in the U.S. Army, and so he always understands and feels compassionate, or at least important, to watch the rear.
Yeah, I reckon that's probably a good idea. Maybe go and climb up on top of that caboose and just keep a pretty good eye out. You got a rifle with you back there?
No, I do not. All I've got is this shotgun. So unless you got something to spare, I can go bug Whiskey and see if he'll let me borrow his.
I got one. I'll hold on to Father Cross's Winchester here. You take this Remington I picked up. I've got that Remington rolling block rifle. It's just a one shot, but it's got a pretty long range on it. So I'd say that's pretty solid for somebody kind of on high ground keeping an eye out. So I will lend him that Remington rolling block that I believe I snagged off a corpse, as I recall. So I'll lend him that, and I'll hold on to the Winchester. And then, yeah, Ollie's going to start making the rounds. And, like, in Ollie's mind, this isn't like people that are on the lookout for angry natives. This is like a cattle drive of, cattle that we've swiped from someone, and we're on the lookout for authorities. But he's like, it's a startlingly similar frame of mind. Like, you want to keep a lookout, you want to keep everybody together, and then you need to figure out where the hell you're going to go now that you're done with this rustling. So Ollie's going to make the rounds to a couple of the kind of small groups of nameless NPCs and just tell folks, either stay real here, stay on the train, or go with Father Cross and them. Some ladies packed up some bread. They're going to do a little service, but stay one of those two places, y'all. Let's keep close and just kind of keep everybody under watch. And then he's going to go talk to the engineer and see what our getaway plan is, for lack of a better term.
Okay. During your rounds, the children are all being meandered over to the... I forgot the word, but it's laid on a piece of cloth, and you lay it on a bed, and sometimes...
Picnic?
Yes, the cloth.
Picnic?
Picnic cloth. Words! You notice Natty is definitely... catches you a side eye, and with his little wooden rifle, gives you a nod, like his job is over here. He's definitely... Blanket! That's the word, man!
Okay, here we go.
How in the world can I even forget? Anyways, Natty gives you a nod as he's heading over with the rest of the kids, as if to give you that...
Yeah, like it's okay. I'll watch this group.
This, yeah.
That type of vibe. All right, it's good kid. Good kid.
Because if you remember, when you were taking your nap, like the first day, he was just standing, or second day, he was just staring at you like,
Yeah, Natty's a good kid. He's gonna grow up fine.
So it looks like we have just received Father Cross is joining us, so we'll definitely give a moment to let him slide on in. I'm fine. I've only been gaming for a couple of hours and drinking for a little bit of it. So I'm going to hold these descriptions. We're going to bring Father Cross into our phone call. So the rest of you guys get a little break screen for a moment, and we will be right back. Which button was it again? I think it's this one. Let's see how bad this looks. Hey everybody, we're back. That's not that bad. I've got a black bar to one side of my face. I can fix that. Welcome back. Just real quick. I'm Max the Marshal. I've got Rusty playing Ollie, Sarah playing Ann McDade, and James playing Father Cross. We've got everybody back and ready to rock and roll, do this thing. I hope you guys can hear me. We're going to do a quick sound check to make sure everybody can be heard. Rusty?
Do, re, mi, fa,
I
sol,
see
la,
stuff.
ti,
Sarah?
do.
Hello, can you hear me?
And last but not least, Father Cross.
Check.
Excellent. I see the microphone information's moving, so it looks like we're good to go. All good. Father Cross, you're up at a picnic on a thing called a blanket, because I had problems with that word. Ollie is making eye contact with the little kid named Natty, and Natty's like, he's got this with his wooden gun, and you were headed to go speak with McAllister at the front of the engine.
Is McAllister the engineer's name?
He is.
All right, cool, because I had not gotten a name for him yet. He was always just the engineer. So, all right, I'll update my notes.
And the name of the guy who does the shoveling is called Shoveler. At least that's what's in my notes. All right. Bam, you make it to the front of the train. McAllister, along with Vandenberg and the accountant, is up at the front of the engine. And Vandenberg seems to be more engaged with McAllister, his voice being loud. Well, how long will that take? And McAllister's response, I don't know. I've got a lot of figuring out of what tools I have. If you just take a mindful moment and head back to Hank B with the rest of the passengers, I can get started on figuring out what happens next. And Vandenberg's like, Well, I'm here to help as much as possible. I'm an able-bodied mechanic myself. I've worked on a couple of machines. This is the time at which you're walking in. I've worked on a couple of machines myself. I get a good understanding how a steam engine works. Why don't you clue me in on what needs to be done, and then we can go from there.
Kind of feel like you might as well put him to work, McAllister. I don't reckon there's too many more of us back here that are able and willing to roll up our sleeves and work on some fancified contraption like this.
The elderly engineer stares at you like, gosh, just another person to talk to, and gives a nod. I understand where you're coming from. I need a moment to figure out what tools those idiots back in Little Rock actually put on the train before we left. From my understanding, there was a bit of confusion on what should and shouldn't have been on board. Vandenberg says, "Are you saying they sent us without proper equipment? I don't think that's very advisable. I could have my lawyers on this if that's true. Being stranded out here like this," and he continues down the rambling moment before he...
Easy on Mr. Vandenberg. I think he's saying he's not sure if we got the proper equipment. And let's remember that we did fight off at least 2 good Native American incursions, and who knows what they might have made off with. So let's just let him take stock and see what we got. Mr. McAllister, if we can't get this Iron Pony up and running, then what? We just leave the train here until someone comes along? We wait for someone to rally up a posse and Dodge and come our way? What's the going railroad, book say about this sort of thing?
Vandenberg takes a moment as you kind of give him a slight but gentle brush off. He rubs his big-ass belly, and then he puts his hands into his pockets and stares at you. It's more of not a concern of dislike, but kind of like questioning. Who is this gunslinger for a moment? Who is this guy to talk to like this? McAllister stares at the ground and then looks up to you. You can see the man's lost a bit of sleep, but he's doing good considering he got shot in the guts. And he says, "It'll be about 2 days before they even round anybody up. At least 1 day before they had a rider down this way. We're supposed to be there," and he pulls out his pocket watch, "in about 8 hours. So sometime tomorrow morning they would send somebody riding this way if we don't show. We can be up to 6 hours late. No more, no less."
What's 8 hours by train on people on foot?
Sometime tomorrow around 9 o'clock at night they should be arriving here, as he looks down at his watch and does math in his head quickly.
You think, I don't know, you think we could fit everybody on one car? Maybe use the horses in back of the train to get something moving in the right direction?
He stares at you quizzically, trying to just give a... No, that's a... Vandenberg is, "That's not a bad..." And McAllister waves his hands. No, that's a terrible idea. The horses aren't strong enough to pull one car, and we'd be going backwards. We don't even have a split anywhere near here. No. He looks to the two of you. "If you really want to help, go back to the first cargo car there, and look for any of the tools that are supposed to be on board. They're going to be in a red box with a symbol for the train on it. Not a train, but the train's logo. The river with a tree on it."
Right, red box full of tools. Let's go take a look.
"Come on, shoveler. Let's get up there and see what we can get done." You can definitely tell that the man is disgruntled at the fact you guys are harassing him, and wishes Bixby to be here so that he has some sort of buffer between him and the rest of the world.
Yeah, Ollie just does not like sitting still. It goes against his nature. So he's trying to think of any plan that can keep people moving. But if it's just a matter of waiting until it gets fixed, then it's just a matter of waiting until it gets fixed. So he will amble on back towards the cargo car and go looking for the red box with the train, the train company logo on it.
Vanderberg joins you and begins wandering around too as he begins looking. How big do you think this box could possibly be? The man finds, little things to try to edge you into a conversation. He seems to be trying to be friendly.
Yeah, but he's a banker and I don't consort with his type. So Ollie will not be openly unfriendly, but Ollie will just go, well, I don't know. I ain't never worked on steam engines before, so I don't know how big the tools are supposed to be. Let's just find this red box and bring it up front.
Okay. As you two are digging around, we're going to go over and check out the early morning prayer. Father Cross, you have gathered everybody from the train to have a moment in prayer. And to your benefit, the banker and his accountant assistant, those who love money and not the Lord, have decided not to join. Whiskey has decided not to join either. He seems to be out wandering around, and Ollie and Frank Malone also are not there with you, but you've got everybody else's attention. The small child known as Natty, the one who gave the problem about hiding some time ago, seems to be at the back of the congregation, pacing back and forth, looking out into the distance across the fields of grass and trees with a wooden rifle in hand, as if he is playing guard duty. The rest of the family has gathered together. They brought bread, honey, and tea to have a sit-down, eat in the early morning. Everyone is focused on you. Even the Pinkertons have come out to have a sit and listen.
All right. After making sure everyone's comfortable and we've got everyone set up and everyone can see me, I'll turn around and raise my head to the sky, hand in one Bible, raise my voice to make sure everybody in the crowd can hear me, including any of the others nearby.
Mm-hmm.
And go, "O God of peace, who has taught us that in returning and rest we shall be saved in quietness and confidence, shall be our strength." And I look around at each of them as I continue on. "By the might of thy spirit, lift us. We pray to thee, to thy presence, where we may be still and know that thou art God,
That is beautiful.
through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen."
Awesome. As you...
Amen.
Go ahead.
I said amen.
As do so many others sitting upon that beautiful grassy hill. You picked a place in which the sun is casting, and this is the sole spot in the entire area, so only the blankets and the parishioners around you are illuminated at this moment in time. And everybody's just they're very serene at this point. You can see that you've built a lot of confidence, and a lot of people will get a +2 guts check bonus later on to dealing with some terrible shit if it comes along in the meantime on this train ride. That includes our players. You can definitely hear the Father's words echoing across the valley area that you're in, even though Vanderberg is blah, 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 blah. Okay, so it's the guys up on the hill.
I go ahead and look around, just knowing that the others are not there, like Ollie and a few of the others by choice, but I look around not trying to see if they're paying attention, but just seeing if they are within close proximity, that as a shepherd of the flock, I'm trying to make sure that the ones wandering around are still in close proximity.
Frank Malone he's sitting on the back of the train at distance, and you hope he can hear you, but his focus seems to be out in the distance behind the train. The black man seems to have kept his distance from pretty much everybody else. He hasn't joined in any of your sermons, so he might not be Christian, but he might also be. He comes from the South, and he fought in the U.S. Army. At least you saw that much in his uniform. So he might be one of those regiments of escaped slaves who turned against the South.
Right.
You're not sure. You are definitely not sure. Miss Lorraine is there with you, but she seems to be mostly in attendance to Miss McDade. You're not sure. You've never seen her with a cross before, and you already know that her faith or belief is questionable at this point in time, especially after that whole incident with Vandenberg and her and whatnot, and where you drew your
God
gun on
loves
them.
people even if they're wrong.
I love it. It's wonderful.
Yeah,
Brings a tear to
definitely.
my eye. All right. So, you get a chance to start breaking bread, drinking tea, having honey with all these people. You get a chance to mill about, check up on Miss Thompson. She's doing fine. She seemed to have a restful night, even though considering everything in the beginning of the part of the night was pretty hectic. After that, things calmed down, and everybody had a chance to rest. They were worried because the train was making horrible noises, but they're feeling much more confident now. Mr. Lockett thanks you, of course, for your wonderful words, because he himself is very distressed about the whole thing. Is it that there anything that the two of you want to engage before I get back over to Ollie for a moment?
I'm just reflecting on, kind of squashing what's going on inside of me. Like, I'm trying to kind of reassure Lorraine, but my heart's not as in it as it has been before, because I'm having my own struggle with the Lord.
Okay. You have a strange, not like this moment, but this has been definitely carrying on, resonating since that moment. You felt that when Ollie pulled out his gun and threatened the thing inside you, that thing chose to live, or at least keep doing whatever it's doing, and therefore you were able to get free. Ollie really did scare the devil inside you, or the devil inside that rock, but you're not sure which it was that was controlling you. You're not sure what at this point in time, so there's a lot of questions. Do you still feel that wiggle? Yes, but it seems to have calmed down, like an infant who has finally gotten a chance to get to sleep. It's resting at this moment. You feel fine. You feel awake. You feel as yourself. But there's definitely a fear that there's someone else walking in your shadow.
Dear Lord, please guide me through this, and please make sure that if there's something the devil put inside me, please make sure that no one gets hurt, that I can continue to live under your rule, and help me through this terrible ordeal.
And I will reiterate, Ollie didn't actually draw his gun. He has pointed out he actually just threatened it. So I need you to make a faith roll, Sarah, and let me know those results. You're just rolling your faith. If you don't have your faith, it's a spirit roll.
For the record, it was the prayer that nobody gets hurt that I was giggling at, because I think she's cut about a dozen people in half, and only some of them weren't with her bare hands. But she's like, nah, they don't count. I just mean people I know.
Indians are people.
Oh, so cringeworthy.
That's what where she's been through.
All right, a 9. Okay.
My screens are so not organized today.
Uh-oh. Excellent. Thank you, by the way, Teslin, for those suggestions.
A bunch of names for you.
Yep, I'm using some of what you suggested, some of what I've picked up, and some of those. All right. Yeah, I'll keep a hold of that number for later, and we will see how reaching out to God to see if you gave you any help. Father Cross, you've had a chance to speak with your flock. Is there anything else you want to do?
Well, since they are all beginning to sit down to eat, I'll do a little bit of just walking around, make sure individuals are doing all right, especially the ones that have had the hardships so far, the most, I should say. And then I will go sit down and eat.
Okay. Yeah, there's been some hardship on this ride. Like, you've ridden a train before. This is the first train ride. You're like, man, I hope this shit gets over soon. Not your words, my words.
Close enough.
Where is that? That's what I'm looking for. Yep, that's what I'm looking for. Let's see if we can't make this a little bit... I like that. There we go. Excellent. All right, Ollie, you and Vanderberg, more you than Vanderberg, find the box in question, get a chance to get it open, look through it. You're not sure what you're looking for, but you found the box. The two of you will be more than capable of maneuvering it out of the third car and getting it up to the engineer to open it up and show him all the things that you have found. Upon looking at this...
it's a little troubling that we can easily carry all of the tools and replacement parts. I'm like, that's actually not reassuring, Max. In the short term, my laziness approves. But in the long term, my concern for our train has just spiked. So thanks for that.
You're welcome. As you open the box and McAllister takes a moment to kind of dust his hands and looks into the box, his face goes from disgruntled acceptance of his personal existence in this hell to upset, disgruntled acceptance of this personal hell and remorse for this current... It drops. Like, he goes from grumpy cat to I don't know what. And sighs. Those damn idiots. He hops down from the train, walks over and begins looking through, pulls out a bar and a pipe wrench looking thing, and a couple of... Ain't nothing else back there?
Nothing we saw, and this thing wasn't, lying on its side, busted open or nothing, so I don't think there's any loose stuff back.
Pulls out pipes and corner pieces and stuff like that and begins arranging them, looking at the train and whatnot. I'm missing a number of things, especially a damn hammer. Scour the train for anything that could be used as a tool. If Bixby's up, get his attention and get him to help you if he can. I need something to help me out here. I mean, I can do a lot with this, but... And he looks to the two of you. I'm an old man with broken hands, and I'm dealing with... And he points at the shoveler. With that for assistance. I can't do this. I can't. And he's angry at this point in time. I'm doing everything I damn well can just to make it to Dodge City.
Well, if you can't, let's say we can't fix the train, what do? We just camp down and wait? I'm not a big fan of holding still, but I figure that might be what's safest for the women and children and such, but, mister, if you can't fix this thing, I don't know who can.
He just stares at you for a moment and has like a blank, distancing. I don't have an answer just yet. Check the rest of the train cars. Look for anything. I don't know. See if Bixby can help you out. If not, maybe we start walking. Maybe you start walking.
I feel like last I checked, we had a train car full of pretty healthy-looking nags back there. I'd just as soon ride instead of walk, but I get your point. I'll ask around, see if anybody spots any tools. I'll see if anybody else knows how to work on these sorts of things while I'm at it, and we'll send folks your way if we figure they can help.
He grabs one of the tools and a piece of pipe and climbs back up on the train, yelling at the shoveler. Vandenberg follows after you as you walk away. I think that man from the Pinkertons, the one that talks too much, he might be a smart enough fellow.
Yeah, he might be. I think he tries to hide it with all them words and such, but they did have some fancy shooting irons, and maybe they know how to work other contraptions and the like. You go take a look for more tools. I'll go take a look for the Pinkertons.
He gives a nod and heads up into the train and start wandering around. You make your way across the gravel to the grassy fields and up the hillside and into the sunlight. You give a chance to walk past Natty. He gives you a nod.
I'll tousle his hair on the way by and say, "Everything looking all right, deputy?"
He responds with, I saw some engines up on the hillside, but I shot at them. They ran off. And he's trying to sound like you.
That's fair. I mean, Ollie's pretty awesome to like a 10-year-old kid. So Ollie'll just give him a grave nod. All right. Good man. Keep an eye out for me. And then, yeah, I'll mosey around and go looking for some lawmen to save the day, like Ollie does.
You're able to get up with the rest of the group, and you get a chance to talk to Dr. Webb and Dr. Walters. Dr. Walters has a decent amount of understanding of how machinery works, and he'll be more than glad to throw his hat in. Dr. Webb, on the other hand, go ahead.
I will suggest that he also help scour the train for parts on his way up to the engine. So like he can look for tools on his way up. So I'm not sending him straight to the engineer. So the engineer is a little less likely to kill him.
Oh man!
I figured if he shows up with some repair parts or tools, good. Even if all he does is get to the engineer more slowly, the engineer still kind of owes me a favor. So yeah, I'll try to hit home that we need someone with a keen eye to go fetching all these tools and such. So maybe you start at the caboose and work your way forward. Keep an eye out for anything that might be able to fix that engine.
Definitely mitigating the damage that the poor engineer is going to go through. I'm going to let you draw a chip for that one. That is very thoughtful of you.
Yeah, I turned it from a burst damage to a damage over time, basically, but whatever.
Yeah, Dr. Walters is going to talk his fucking ear off. McAllister's going to just kill his ass with a shotgun.
All right, well, it got me a red chip, so I'm willing to I'll sacrifice Dr. Walters for a red chip.
All right. Him and Dr. Webb will do so, but Dr. Webb, of course, is a doctor more than he is an engineer and has only some understandings of how engines work, but he will assist to how he can. Besides, he has patients to watch after. All right. You've talked to the Pinkertons. Lorraine sees you and kind of gives like a half wave.
I will shoot her a confident-looking wink and a smile. Because Ollie is all about keeping up appearances around the women folk.
Sounds good.
And then I'm assuming people are still fairly gathered together over here. Like they kind of split apart for picnicky stuff, but the churchin' folk are still probably all within earshot, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Then Ollie will go against his better nature and will raise his voice. Go, hey, everybody. Listen on for a minute. Hope this doesn't quite count as interrupting a service, Father, because it looks like y'all were mostly done. But Mr. McAllister up in the engine, he's going to need him some more hands to help out. Kind of literally on account of he got hurt, but also, I don't know, metaphorically or whatever, he just needs more people up there. If anybody knows anything about fixing these steam-powered contraptions and such, if you can head on up to the front of the train and help out, it'd be much appreciated, and get us all moving this last stretch of rail towards Dodge that much quicker.
Silence rolls over the crowd. Most people murmur for a moment or two.
I stand up and I say, well, I don't know much about steam engines, but I will lend a hand to anyone willing to show me what I need to do to help out.
Ooh.
And I will pull my my blazer off as I'm starting to head that way.
Awesome. Throwing yourself in there definitely like that gets the rest of the congregation to give a nod and an agreement that they also will do whatever it takes to get this up and running. We are extra hands, and this is God's country, therefore we're all going to do whatever we can to help out. And so the picnic kind of gets a surreptitious ending to it for the majority as a bunch of folks get up and begin heading back toward the train. Ollie, you find yourself pretty much by... it's you, Lorraine, and Miss McDade now as the picnics come to an end.
Perfect. Did anybody leave food behind while they scampered away? No. Like it was all just a scheme. Yeah, he'll mosey over to the ladies and check on them before. I'm assuming like we'll talk while the three of us are walking back towards the train kind of slowly. But yeah, we'll go check on the pretty young single ladies in the group.
Lorraine, as you approach, hello, Ollie. That was good words. You got the father to make everyone want to help out.
Well, just eager to get this old iron horse moving and get all these God-fearing, ticket-purchasing folks to Dodge.
She will smile at you and look to Anne. Are we two going to help out?
If there's any way we can, I'm happy to help.
She gives a nod to you. Then I am happy to help. How can we help, Ollie?
Well, I figure right now our biggest issue is making sure no more of those kids run off and get lost. Just as long as we can keep everybody together in just one or two big groups, I figure that's probably our best bet. And I don't picture too many folk running away from you two and your smiling faces. So maybe kind of just help ride sidekick and run herd here, keep everybody together. I figure that's safest bet for everybody times like these.
I don't see Lorraine arguing too much with that. She doesn't have too much of a good say for at this point. Anne?
I just kind of smile at him and kind of like give him an encouraging look for us to get on with it.
Okay. The everybody gathers back up front, and with the assistance of Dr. Walters, a number of them have made efforts to gather what they think is a tool and bring it to the front of the train. For the most part, everybody does a decent job of finding what would be best look like a tool. Some people, of course, bringing forward a frying pan, thinking a frying pan could just fit into the hole and solve the problem. The engineer takes a look over the collection of mismatched tools, gives a nod, and says, this is good, but this isn't really going to help out. I've got a lot to work with, and I really appreciate what you folks are doing, but I need some time to get this a bit more organized. And it goes from more of an acceptance speech of, oh, look, you did stuff, to like, oh, man, this is not useful, as he's looking upon it. Bixby has joined you all in this gathering as he is a bit more up. He's sitting on one part of the rail train, and he said, well, and he just burst out and he says, well, if it's that dire, then maybe it's a good idea to go ahead and start making plans for all of us to maybe stay up in the train for a while a few of us ride toward Dodge City or the next stop that we can get to. The engineer, realizing Bixby is there, immediately steps back because this is not his forte. He's just the engineer. The conductor kind of agrees. That's a good possibility. And while everybody's having a chance to talk and this discussion of what to do. You, in particular, you notice that from your point of view, where you're standing at the train, there is a column of smoke, probably about a hill away. I mean, it doesn't. You don't pay too much mind to it, but you do notice it. It's a straight column of smoke going up in the sky and kind of like dispersing. Something you would see maybe coming out of a fire or a chimney.
Hey, y'all, what's that over there?
This draws attention to everybody. And everyone else. You see a column of smoke. A woman cries out, "Oh my goodness, Indians!" Whiskey
Oh
cuts
no!
off. Go ahead.
Anybody can start a fire.
Whiskey says, if this was Indians, there'd be more to it. They don't normally just let their smoke look like that. They use it, disperse it, so that the people don't see where they're coming from.
So let's not get everybody spooked, but yeah, everybody just head on. Let's all stay on the train for now, and maybe a couple of us will mosey on over and take a look. Maybe see who started that fire, and then maybe just get a look at some horses and look into some other options. But yeah, just everybody stay cool and not go panicking folks about any more Redskin Braves coming our way, huh?
The Lord is going to guide us right anyway, and I'll start kind of humming a hymn and kind of using the voice to keep people calm.
Father Cross, you were going to say something?
I nod to Ollie and I say, I'll go to the top of the hill with you. Volunteering him as much as myself.
Yeah, Ollie trusts himself to go look better than anyone else. He's certainly not going to be delegating the exciting jobs to anyone. So yeah, he'll just give you a nod. Oh, Padre, I guess let's just go for a walk.
So I'm
I'll
assuming.
come along too.
Oh, go ahead.
If you don't mind, gentlemen, I'll come along.
Ollie will give Father Cross a questioning shrug, like a "why not" sort of expression on his face.
I nod and I say, I have no problems with it. Come along, Miss Day.
Yeah, let's see what a woman's eye will catch that maybe ours will miss.
All right. Vanderberg will, so you guys are all moving up to the top of the hill to kind of get a better eye onto where this smoke is coming from, I assume. That's the goal at this point. Alrighty then, that's a cognition check from the rest of you. The difficulty is, from this distance, a whopping 9.
Alrighty.
Now, chat, you guys are going to see a blur of numbers fly by here in a moment, so I will definitely repeat out who got what. Here's Rusty's roll.
All right, there's an 11.
Father Cross is probably not paying attention too well.
And I'm trying not to trip over my skirt on this hill.
That was an awful lot of 2s that Miss McDade rolled, yeah.
It is, isn't it? You guys get to the top of the hill, and there's a lot of squinting. Ollie, you have a moment.
Yeah, Ollie's actually gonna kind of like crouch down and move up kind of slowly from the top of the hill. He's not like super good at sneaking, but he puts in a good faith effort. It looks like you get the feeling he might have looked out for people from the top of hills while trying not to be seen before a time or two.
I honestly feel the only people who would recognize that are the Pinkertons.
Sure.
All right. As the three of you get to the top of a hill and kind of gaze over and try to get an idea, None of you can see anything worthwhile right off the bat. Ollie, you maneuver for a minute, step to the side, kind of crouch down, and then you see fence posts. You see railing. And you think you see... Yeah, it's a farmstead. That smoke is coming from a farmstead. Right at least a hill over.
There we go. Somebody's made a home out here, and they got some critters they're trying to keep fenced in. Yeah, I reckon it wouldn't do no harm if we went on over and said hello and asked them, I don't know, where we might ride to next to look for some help. And then he'll look kind of questioningly up at the two of you like, do we want to just go over right now? Or, you know.
I look to where he's pointing out the homestead, and
you see trees.
I just realized that didn't pick up my third die. I'm not worried about it. Yeah, I look in the direction of the smoke and I say, about how far off do you think?
About how far off do I think?
On foot is probably going to take you about the better part of 2 hours. Being careful because it's a lot of up and down hills through forest. Horseback, it might take you about an hour, but then, like I said, a bunch of up and down hills, and you risk the horse getting hurt.
Yeah, it's gonna take us till about noon if we go on foot. We could cut that time in half on horseback. I suppose maybe we could ask one of the horse owners back at the train if I could borrow theirs. Seemed to have misplaced my good mare about a week ago.
Lorraine will be like, "Oh no, Ollie, that's terrible. What happened to her?"
She's not here to say that though, right? Or did she come with?
Oh, Lorraine's not left McDade's side.
Okay. Oh, misunderstanding with some folk that had more guns than I did. He leaves the answer kind of that mysterious, though. He does not specify that it was. He doesn't say it was a posse or anything. That doesn't want people to get the wrong impression of it.
I have a horse of my own as well. Why don't we see who will let you borrow one, and at least the two of us can ride over.
All right then, let's head on back to the train and see how folks is doing.
There might be a small town closer than we realized.
Could be. Could be. Hopefully they'll be able to help us out a little.
All right. You arrive back at the train, and I do apologize if that was not the impression. Miss Lorraine is not leaving Miss Anne's side because of fear of being around Vandenberg.
That's fair.
You get back to the train and announce to I guess everyone or the engineer what you found.
Yeah, I kind of feel like towards the front of the train is like the new social gathering spot. I figure like that's kind of where we last left off people, so we know that somebody that's nominally in charge will be there. I figure probably Bixby's not going to go real far from there. So yeah, I figure that's kind of our default announcement spot to the NPCs. So yeah, we'll head back in the general direction of the front of the train.
Maybe
and then
we should tell just Bixby for the time being. We don't want to spook the people that live there if an entire train full of people suddenly show up on their front doorstep unexpectedly.
yeah, I figure probably a smaller group that maybe has a holy man and a pretty young woman or two in it might come off as a bit less threatening than just a dusty cowboy like me riding up by himself.
Okay.
And probably less threatening than a couple dozen folk all half panicked and such.
That's fair.
So yeah, we'll tell the engineer and Bixby He'll be like, yeah, it's a homestead over yonder. It's going to take us a good bit of time to get there on foot, but if we could borrow a couple of the horses from that car, and honestly, it might do the horses some good to get some sunshine, stretch your legs a bit. But figure we need permission from a railroad agent and such in order to dabble with the cargo in that kind of way.
As the discussion comes up, the Bixby suggests that some of the kids and at least one adult take the horses out to give them some walking, because that's going to be important. 2, Lorraine points out that she also has a small pony, and she's more than happy to share it, if not ride it, because she has a pony. Vandenberg has a horse himself. Yes, the banker. And considering that'll get the train back up and running, and he needs to get to Dodge City, he's okay with letting Ollie, who seems to be an upstanding individual, ride his horse.
Especially where other people's livestock is concerned.
Yep.
As soon as the talk comes of like assigning people horses and stuff, I go, actually, you know, why don't I stay behind and look after things here in case people have questions or concerns? I'd be happy to hold down the fort right here.
Lorraine points out that she has a horse, so it's not a big deal. You can ride with her.
I get a little twitchy around horses, and they seem to be able to pick up on that.
She says that her horse is beautiful and loves everyone, and carrots too. She seems to be trying really hard to counteract your negativity here.
Well, let's just let you two stay behind then. I guess me and the Padre will go poke around, and Miss McDade, maybe you can sing a song or two and just keep spirits up here trainside.
I get real excited about that, and I go, I could do that. I even have my violin. Maybe I'll get out some music for people.
How's that sound, Miss Lorraine? You stay here and keep the folks happy with Miss McDade?
She looks to you, realizing that you're about to ride off into the sunset without her, and she looks to Anne, and she's like, but we might get to meet country folk.
Well, then why don't you go along with Mr. Ollie?
All right. She's very hesitant of this. You're going to need to make a persuasion check to actually convince her to do so. Because she really just wants to stay at your side, but being away from
Ollie's
Vandenberg
side is just as safe.
I understand that, but, you know... Okay. She will, she said, you think it'll be okay? And she's asking you directly, Ollie, if I go with?
Well, it might, and figure we might look a bit less threatening if we bring her along. What do you think, Padre?
I think a lady might help the situation. I am going to go ahead and have a little talk with my horse. And I will let you figure out who is going to go with us, Ollie, and since a few people have nominated to allow you to take their horse, I'll let you figure that out. I'll be right back. And I'm heading over to the car where all the horses were. Mm-hmm. Since my horse and I don't get along, this may take a few minutes.
Well, I ain't real used to telling other people where they can and can't go, so it's really up to you, Miss Platt. If you'd like to ride along, then I'm sure the father and I would be more than happy to have you. If you'd rather stay here and help Miss McDade keep everybody calm and happy, I'm sure she'd like that just fine too.
Okay. she takes a moment, looks to you, Anne, and then looks over to Ollie, and she goes, "Are you sure you don't want to go?" Trying to convince you one last time, Anne, to join with the rest of the posse and go check out Tiny Farmstead. Because
in my head, I go, the horses don't want me to go. But to her, I'll go, I think that the gentleman will make a fine afternoon of it for you. So you go on and have fun, and I'll see you as soon as you get back.
She gives a nod and heads to the fourth car to get her horse. All right. It's going to take a little bit of time to get all the horses put together and saddled up.
Yeah. Ollie's going to use his saddle on Vandenberg's horse. But he's got his own saddle. He's got his own saddlebags. He will use his stuff. But yeah, he will pretty politely take Vandenberg up on that.
Okay. You guys mount up on your horse. James, what are you going to do to convince your horse to actually listen to you?
All right. Since it's not that far back, I'm going to swing by the kitchen car.
Mm-hmm.
And look around for a bag of apples I remember you quoting as being seen in there at one point.
That was a couple of game sessions ago. Glad you at least remembered it.
I'm going to grab a few. I'm actually going to grab the entire bag, and I'm going to walk in there, and I'm going to step in front of my horse. First things first, don't give me that look. Yes, we're going out for a ride. Yes, I'm going to be using my saddle. Yes, I'm going to be riding you. Tell you what. And I set the bag down, find the nicest looking apple, biggest one, and I hold it out to him.
All right. At that point in time, he kind of gives you the side eye, looks at the apple, looks to you. It's an assuring look as the horse realizes there's some level of fuckery going on here, and you're trying to, hedge your bets.
We're just going out for a nice ride in the hills. We'll be coming back not more than a couple hours.
The horse will turn around and turn its ass to you from inside the stall, not even taking the apple. Go ahead and make your animal handling roll.
You said animal wrangling?
Yes. I forgot that's what it's called in this game. I keep forgetting. Like all the awesome little names they have. Animal wrangling. Shooting. It's not firearms. It's shooting.
Oh, that's weird.
What's weird?
The skill itself actually does not have a die beside it.
It means you didn't.
Oh, that's
put
right.
any-
It's got a specialization on it.
Yeah, I think Bronco Bustin is the one for dealing with horse. Even though we're not actually busting a Bronco so much as just doing horsey stuff. Yeah, that's what I had to go looking for it a while ago myself.
That's what I did. I put the skill point into it, but not the special. Nope.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, the horse turns away from you and just looks to the other end of the stall, which is now looking at a wall, but is flicking its tail at you.
I sigh. And I go, all right. Since it's looking the other way, I'm going to turn around. I'm going to grab the saddle blanket and I'm going to lay it over his back.
Alrighty then. It doesn't have much room to negotiate in these tiny pins, so it just gives you a humph.
I'm going to go ahead and start saddling him.
Alright.
If he looks over his shoulder, I'm going to start putting, I'm going to put a few apples.
We had a blackout there for a moment.
Yeah, it's like, and it looks like we lost Sarah.
I mean, we still have her because we haven't lost the target zone which her camera appears in. So
Yeah.
Discord just had a hiccup. There she is.
Sorry about that.
It looks like she's still frozen on Twitch, but that might just be the lag on Twitch.
Should be the lag.
Should be the lag.
And still freaking out because of the horses. That's what happened.
Oh, so you begin saddling your horse. It doesn't fight you in the ordeal. Can everyone on Twitch still hear me? Just checking on that. My indications say that I'm making noise. Awesome. The horse doesn't freak out, doesn't fight with you. Just as you begin putting the bit, when you go to put the bit and bridle in, it's like looks away a bunch. It doesn't fight you to the point where it's like you can't put the bit and bridle in. But at some point in time, it puts the bit and bridle in and just like pushes it off to one side. Finally, you put it in and get it nice and tightened on. And it just kind of looks at you like, really? All right. Time passes. Fast forward. Ollie, you've got Vandenberg's beautiful horse. Like, it's like uber groomed, man. Well taken care of. Comes trotting out. Lorraine's horse is a little bit of a tiny pony and seems to have been decently taken care of. But Vandenberg's looks like he actually puts conditioner in his horse's mane kind of scenario. And then finally, after about a good 5 minutes of verbally asking the horse to get out of the cart, Father Cross's horse finally comes out. Father Cross, of course, giving pushes and pulls to assist the horse, and the horse seemed to have no influence under Father Cross's minuscule weight in comparison to this large animal. Horse.
Hey, Padre, you need a hand over there? I'm pretty all right with horses and such, especially ones that belong to other folk. But anyways, I got a decent way with animals.
I think we found a middle ground for now. If I start to have...
The horse will stop at that point in time and back up and like it's looking at him. And then starts heading back to the car.
Okay. I'm going to try making a riding check.
All right, he runs toward the horse. Roll. Push the button.
I was looking for... Been so long since I've done a riding check, I don't... there it is.
The horse is getting closer
I can't remember where it was.
The horse is leaving. He's right. The father is... The father races back for the horse. By the way, everybody is spectating to this moment in time. The father rushes back to the horse. He grabs a hold of the saddle horn, begins throwing his leg up. At some point, the horse goes up the little ramp, and the father has no ground to hold on to. So the father is dragging along the side until the horse goes into the car, and the father has to let go as the horse goes back into the horse cart.
Yeah, it looks like the middle ground is him going back to bed instead of kicking you or something. Can I just try to help a bit, Pod?
Please.
All right. That's a good boy. Come on now. Turn around, take a look at this pretty filly I'm up on top of. There we go. I got your eye. Let's go. And he'll start using his combination of animal wrangling and his the soothing voice merit, which will give him a bonus on it. And if there's still an apple lying around, he'll glossy it up real good on his shirt and hold it out to try to kind of lure the horse out, get its attention, and then try to grab the reins, basically.
Okay.
Is what he's working on. Well, that's a 5.
You do some sweet talking. The horse comes to the door of the car and just stares out at the two of you. This ornery beast just looks at you, even with apple and a nice little filly to go along with. It doesn't seem to care. This horse has more attitude. Than
Do
most
you want
people.
sugar?
Padre, I can try to get a rope around his neck, but I don't want him kicking at you and so. I mean, all he does have his lasso on his hip. It kind of always has, but he doesn't want to. He'd rather not make a huge deal out of this if he can.
All right. I look at the horse and I go, all right. We can't go anywhere unless you help me out here. And I'm going to, I don't have the voice like
Nope.
Ollie and
You actually have penalties.
and yeah. And I look at him and I go, just this once, please.
All right.
And I will try the animal wrangling again, as I'm trying to persuade him.
Are there rules for like an assist in this game? It's like it could be Padre assisting Ollie or something like that. Are there sort of like teamwork stuff? I know every RPG handles it differently.
There are team
Actually,
rules.
there is.
I just don't remember them.
I believe he's got to succeed at a target number 5, I believe.
It is, yeah, that's right.
And then and then the assisting character or characters provide a +2 per, if I remember
per
right.
raise.
Yep.
That's what I remember as well.
Well, I do not remember it, but I will take your all's word for it because I couldn't find it doing a Control F for teamwork or for so all right, who of us needs to roll what?
Well, if the father is rolling to gain control of his horse, he needs to make a animal wrangling roll because he has penalties to actually animal wrangle. You've just rolled bad because the horse is already at a disposition. So, I mean, you should have gotten better, even with your bonuses. Maybe I could consider, like, the apple would be like a +1, but I'd still consider it a difficult. So we're looking at a 7 is the magic number here that I'd like to see the player succeed in. Otherwise, Father Cross just needs to find a horse that doesn't have an attitude problem. Yeah, this is an onerous horse, so therefore it gets a 7, which is the onerous 7.
Yeah, I hope you didn't pay full price for this.
The church.
All right, so Padre was going to make a
Worst part is
second.
it's a smart horse.
Smart
So I think
ass.
Yeah, I think Padre was going to make a second try first.
Okay.
So I guess you go ahead and roll that, and then what's the assist thing? I give him a +2.
You
said-
roll, you're trying to get a 5. If you get a 5, that's +2. If you get a 10, that's a +4. If you get a 15, that's +6.
All right, well, I got a 6, so that's made it by 1.
You got more focused, but you're chuckling too hard to be very effective at this point in time because you've seen horses with character, and this horse has a lot of it, and it ain't putting up with nobody's crap.
Padre,
I
this
need to
horse
put the
reminds me.
neck-
This horse reminds me of the Sister Superior back home in Galveston. She did not do nothing till her mind was made up to do it. I'm pretty sure Lord himself could have come down and told her to stop sweeping before the corners was clean, and she would have said no.
I think I met that woman.
All right, Father.
-1.
Jesus. The horse goes back in and closes the door behind it. No.
I'm
It's
throwing
done.
a blue chip in.
So here's what happens.
You know what?
Here's what happens. You're throwing in a blue chip. All right. Go ahead, throw in your blue chip. Oh my goodness. You only got one of them. You're not going to throw in a red chip because that would give me a chip. I get that.
Exactly.
Roll a die.
I love that.
Wow.
Roll
We're
your
at the
D6.
We're at the point of using some of the best chips in the game to just try and not get your horse to leave.
I personally, as a game master and a player, like when my characters or the players have something that's a required skill that they suck at. I've played many. I had a fighter once that had a horrible charisma, and he liked to socialize and get people in trouble, mainly himself. So I'm enjoying this. This is a nice little.
Okay, so I'm at a 3 plus the 2 from Molly. That's a 5.
Yeah.
Uh,
Apple gives a 1. We're at 6.
6.
Still 1 away.
And
So, there you are. As he's standing next to the ramp, the horse is in the door. You've made good gestures. You've even called, come on, right? The father runs up the ramp. Comically now. He's now almost a comical character. He goes up the ramp. He grabs a hold of the reins of the horse, and he's like, come on, you can do this. He's got the apple in front. He gives a tug, and the horse kind of gives a tug back. The father gives a stronger tug. The horse gives a bit of a stronger tug. Ollie, you can see what's about to happen, and the father does.
Padre, you ain't gonna.
Padre grabs a hold, and he yanks as hard as he possibly can, and that horse digs in hard. There's a quick tug of war, and then there's a whip. The father goes flying off to one side of the train, hits the side of the train, falls to the ground. The horse then steps back in, grabs the door handle, and slides the door shut.
okay, I know about this point.
People are laughing.
I'm seeing about 5 or 6 of everything, including the stars, even though it's broad daylight. Yeah, I get up, stumble sideways about 7 steps, straighten out my shirt, and I start what I think is heading forward, even though I know I'm going off to the left. When I realize I'm going the wrong way, I put my left to the way we want to go, and I start crab walking that way until I can focus enough to start walking.
Well, the good news is ain't nobody gonna steal it anytime soon. Why don't we see if you could borrow another horse from someone, maybe?
Nice stop.
All right. After a little negotiations with other passengers, the Thompson family, her husband, had a horse. So that was going to help them carry their stuff. It is an older, horse, and so yeah, they put the saddle on it. This one's a lot less disagreeable. Ollie's the one who convinces it to come out, and it does not seem to have as much of a disposition problem to you as you would expect. But then again, it only seems to pay attention to when Ollie tells it to do anything. So you have a horse, it's just not listening to you, just like your horse doesn't listen to you.
That's all right. That's a good girl. There we go.
Right.
She's mellow. She'll be fine. I reckon she can follow us. I reckon she'll follow us. Okay, Padre, jump on up there before she wanders off. That's a good girl. Yeah.
I will get up in the saddle and just let Ollie take the lead.
Okay. as you guys begin riding toward the smoke, Lorraine will ask, I have never seen a horse hate someone so much. What did you do to her?
Animals don't really like me, considering what I usually do. And I'm only saying this once the three of us are out of earshot of
She really
everybody
hates
else.
you.
Well, I guess the good Lord seems to like you, okay? So that probably evens it out. Most of the time.
You should talk to
Well-
your Christ God so he can tell the horse to like you.
Well, I think he's a little upset that we went charging into a nest of Mojave rattlers last year.
Oh, he's the boy.
Yeah.
He hates you. And she laughs at
Yes.
you. All right. Yeah, that's going to be the talk of the train for a little bit.
Keeping morale up, Padre. That's all. You put on a
At
show
least-
before we left.
Yes, at least I am able to keep everyone in high spirits.
That's true. All right. We're going to take the point of view from the train as the three riders begin heading through the grassy patches and the smart dirt path through these forested areas, and there's some shaded places. It's nice. It's a cool ride. This early part of the day, and you guys begin dipping between gullies and valleys and over small hills, heading onto the side of the next big hill, trying to get to where you saw this smoke. All the order of operations with who's out front.
Well, I feel like it's probably not Father Cross, since his horse doesn't go when he wants it to.
And
So
it's
yeah, I
following
figured.
Ollie.
Yeah, I figure it's probably Ollie up front. We've got Miss Lorraine probably riding next to me, and we'll be chatting. I'm trying to pick up some more French, so we'll point at a tree, and we'll point at a pony, and we'll point at a horse, and Ollie will keep on using his gift of gab to pick up a little more French from her. And then I figure Father Cross's horse follows us from behind, and Father Cross hangs on.
You go down into one culvert, and it's quite a bit of shale and whatnot that looks like it's been worked. You yourself have a chance to see this kind of. Oh, thank you, Thomas. Or, oh no, that was.
That was me.
Oh, look at you helping out with the French.
I'm learning French just like Ollie is.
Very awesome. And so you're done with this culvert. It's a little prospecting area where mining area where people have dug out shale for either roofing or some sort of stonework and whatnot. And so you're passing through that. And that's something you've seen in your life, as well as Father Cross. You've seen that as well. Only Lorraine is one who's she has no idea. It's just rocks as far as she's concerned. She's lived most of her life in a city of some type. So you guys are passing through that, and as you come up and around, it's the path is dirt, and you found it. You found this path leading from this little area, and as you come up and whatnot, you see a fence post.
Well, here we are, Padre. Reckon it might be best if you do most of the talking. I can hang back a little bit, and Miss Lorraine can just stand there and look all reassuring and such.
Very well.
Ollie will hold the reins on Father Cross's borrowed horse. It's nice and still for him to hop off, and then Ollie will take care of just quick lashing reins to the fence type of thing. And
Now you are at a
and he'll
fence.
just hang-
You're at a corner of the fence post. Let me do a bit more description.
Oh,
You have come out
sorry.
of this area. There's a fence post. The fence runs a long length into some nearby trees in both directions. There are paths in both ways, and you know the direction toward the house that you need to go. It looks like one leads off into some fields, so the house is still behind some trees and over a hill and everything. But this is the point where Father Cross taking the lead might not be a bad idea, especially if you come across somebody.
Yeah, gotcha. I'm sorry. I thought you meant like we were basically there.
Right.
Yeah, no, Ollie's going to stay up front. And Ollie also has a reason for that regarding ambushes and such. He'd rather be in front than not. He's not worried about that. So he'll stay up front till we get there.
You riding with a rifle out?
He's got like a scabbard for it on his saddle, so he'll leave it in that.
Okay. So as you guys are riding, the fence line is along your right-hand side, and you guys are riding in some trees. Somebody didn't clear out the area too much, just enough to put a path in the fence pound and stuff like that. Maybe it's for the purpose of pasture cows, because you can tell by the size of the fence itself. Wood planks, these are easy to pry off and get some cattle out of. Barbed wire would be better, but you understand how to get past barbed wire already, especially when you're moving lots of cattle.
I'm certain I don't know what you mean, sir.
Oh, well, moving forward, as you're going down this length of fence post and whatnot, something catches your eye. Actually, let's see if you even notice it. See if you're paying attention for these little details. Make a cognition check, Ollie. Everybody else can make a cognition check, but Ollie has a 5 to notice, which is a fair, while everyone else has an onerous.
Can I see it from way back at the train?
Unfortunately, no.
That's a 5.
Father Cross, 6.
Yep.
All right.
My rolls are getting higher.
Whoever set this length of fence up really just kind of put it in place. But the trail, on the other hand, has a lot of switchbacks. And you're noticing that a trail has been cleared in and out of the local tree line, but not normally crossed. So as a large herd of cattle can be brought in and out to pasture, but not following the normal path which people on horseback would follow. Which is fine. This is something that wouldn't be abnormal. But what you do notice is that the frequency of which this pasture might be used is very slim or limited. You would expect somebody to, at least use their pasture more often. This farmstead, by just looking at the wood, looks at least a couple of years old. Can't possibly have missed, that many cattle runs. Unless, maybe you found a farm that doesn't actually have cattle or doesn't use that much cattle. It's just kind of odd. It's somebody who would have a lot of knowledge of handling cattle would notice.
So yeah, it just looks like it's just got less traffic than it should, basically.
That is correct.
Okay. Yeah, we'll just kind of keep that.
And you're also noticing as you're traveling the length of this field, you have yet to see one head. And it's a big field. There should be something. It's that time of year.
Well, he'll mention as we make our... Looks like there might not be many folks at home, but somebody had to start that fire, so I reckon we'll still spot someone.
All right.
But these folk might have some sort of problems of their own, Father. So I don't know. Let's just be on our best behavior. He says to like the adorable little French lady and the Catholic priest. It's like, so you guys be good.
I know, right? You guys be good, because that way I can be bad for everybody. All right, you guys run through another section of grounding that has a bunch of dugout shale and whatnot. This mountain has got decent amount of it. As you're coming back out of the next side, you hear a familiar click, click, tink noise of a hammer being cocked. And as you immediately, make your perception to veer to one side, you did not see it, but there is a man on horseback sitting to the left-hand side of this valley in a very covered position. He sees you, and he has a rifle ready.
Well, he'll make a big show, like stretching, like he's yawning, and then just conveniently leave his hands up. So it's not like an alarmed, oh no, he's just going to make a show of kind of keeping his hands off his guns and go, Afternoon.
The man on horseback is wearing a duster, or at least a coat of some type, and a brimmed hat, just like you are. And as he kind of brings this rifle down a little bit, "Oleander," he yells out, and a familiar voice echoes across the hills.
This is probably not going to be good. Yeah.
The man's voice remembers, echoing distantly back. You hear him yell out, "Hey, Cody! It's Ollie! Get up here! He got a woman with him!" And you hear a horse coming up from behind this gentleman. And as you squint hard, you see Dwight, another one of the orphans that you grew up with, another one of the rough boys that you and a couple of your other orphan friends, orphan brothers, used to get into a lot of fun with. Dwight holsters his rifle and begins riding up. "I'll be damned if it ain't Ollie. Oh, shit, boy."
Howdy, boys.
Cody and Jeb come up pulling behind the two of them, both dressed in pretty much the similar kind of garb that you're used to. Long-range riding, handkerchiefs tied around their neck, hats with bolos, hats with ties and bolos. Jeb is one of the more quieter ones. He's all in black. He's tall and sits in the back of the three horses. Dwight gives a nod, a smile, and tips his hat back, mostly paying attention to Lorraine sitting next to you.
Well, looks like you boys made it out of Galveston eventually, after all.
We did. Looks like you need to shore up your debts there, Ollie.
I don't got a whole lot of debt waiting on me back in Galveston.
Oh, yes, you do. You said that if I messed around with Captain Bernardo's wife, I'd be a dead man. And now he got a cannonball to the face, and she's up with my kin back in Galveston. Ain't got no worries about that no more. Got out of that one, didn't I?
We made that bet a long time ago. I don't remember exactly how much we wagered on it, but I'll pay it back real soon.
Well, that's good.
Listen, fellas, this is Father Cross, and this is my friend Miss Lorraine. We're on a train over yonder that's had a few engine troubles, and a few engine troubles. We're looking over yonder homestead, see if folks might know where we can ride to go looking for some help.
Cody gives a nod. That's your wife?
No, just a friend of mine from the train. But Ollie's horse will still like sidestep a little bit closer, like kind of protectively putting himself in between them.
Cody was the youngest one to actually draw blood. At 12 years old, he shot a man on a stagecoach in defense. That's not the only time he shot a man, but that was the first time he shot a man. He goes, "Ma'am, you guys want to come up to the house? Sister Teresa's decided to put together a little gathering up here since Blake took ill. It's just fortuitous that you have arrived. It's as if God has sent us a message. What do you think, Ollie?"
Well, I do got a priest with me, so who knows? It's been a pretty queer last couple of days. I suppose it's not the strangest thing possible. Lord intended us to be here, but I gotta tell you, fellas, he could have just told me a little more plainly than he did. But yeah.
Dwight will smile. "Well, that's good. You got a priest with you, and you got a fine young lady with you. Maybe we have a wedding this weekend."
I don't know about all that. We got to get to Dodge pretty soon.
Dwight sits there and says, "Come on, Ollie. We'll ride you up to the house. Sister Teresa would be happy to see you. Also, Blake's up there. Did you hear about JC?"
I haven't really heard about none of you fellas since I headed up and got all tangled up in that damn hoodoo war.
He gives a nod. We heard a little bit about you. Had a lawman come through and give Sister Teresa a little bit of a talking to about her knowledge of where you might be. We were all sorts of kind to him up front. Oh, man.
I tell you, fellas, that business back in Mason just got way out of hand. But
oh, didn't it though?
Yeah, let's just go say hi.
And you do. You ride over the hill, following behind Cody and Dwight. They happily follow, lead the way. Jeb, on the other hand, one of the older boys, he's quiet. He doesn't say anything. He just stares at you guys as you ride by. He was in the U.S. Army for right after everybody pretty much left Galveston. He went north, and then came back down south with a gun in his hand, wearing a blue coat. He doesn't talk much.
Actually wearing a blue coat in Galveston, I imagine he doesn't. So yeah, as we're making our way, through the woods along the path, Ollie will kind of toss over his shoulder to Father Cross. There's Blake, Dwight, Cody, Jeb, and Sister Teresa. I don't know, y'all might know each other, but she's the one that runs St. Mary's down in Galveston, where I was raised up prior to finding myself on the prairies of Texas. But yeah, it's some strange luck come across these boys, but I figure they can help us out.
The one boy called by the name of Dwight says, yeah, I was down about the way of Austin. I was making some amends with the Lord. And he kind of makes a sloppy gesture of a cross across his body and goes, and then all of a sudden I got a letter from Sister Teresa saying Blake is sick. And everybody needs to come up and make sure to kind of help him out, tend to his farm so he can get better. So I dropped everything I was doing. It's kind of good, I guess. He looks over to you, Ollie, specifically. I had too many friends that were trying to say hello to me back in Austin. Cleared up some debts, hit the road.
Yeah, that sort of thing just seems to follow a couple of us down in Texas. I'm afraid I ain't exactly been in the letter-catching business lately, or I'm sure I'd have got one. How's Blake doing now?
He's turned worse for the wear. Sister Teresa believes he might have cancer. The stuff, canker sores eating him up on the. I think they called it canker. Yeah, canker eating him up on the inside. So. Cancer is a term that didn't really come around until just recently. We knew of it, but they just called it canker or cankerous.
Well, I guess if nothing else, I'll get to say goodbye to him, and got Father Cross here, and he could probably help out Sister Teresa with a couple prayers and such. We'll see how things turn out.
All right.
He'll say, trying to sound kind of upbeat.
Trying to. Oh, you just rode into a den of wolves. All right. Getting to the farmstead, it seems like a very productive looking one. You can see that there's a barn, there's a little bit of a makeshift silo that's prepped. You can see what looks like a blacksmithing setup, so there's a possibility of some tools, which you've got a list from the engineer McAllister to look for. And yeah, so there's that. You got definitely that to work with. And as you come pulling up, you can see Blake. He's sitting out on the porch. He's got blankets over him. He looks whiter than a sheet of paper. And he's by himself, and he just seems to be staring off into the distance as you guys come riding up a horse. Dwight yells out to him, informing him of who he found. And apparently that's enough to get Blake's attention to make him roll his head over and look in your direction. Blake always had something smart to say to you. And in Blake's eyes, you were always the slowest, the thick-wittest, he didn't like you. He treated you like shit. But they were just like boys being boys. You know what I'm talking about.
Sure, I've only got D10s and smarts. It all makes perfect sense the way boys treat one another. It's all.
All right, you come riding up to the farmstead, And Father Cross, did you want to say anything or jump in here? Because right now it's a bunch of hey, let's take a look at Ollie's backstory.
I'm staying quiet at the moment because before we ran across him, my thought was first person we came across, I'd be doing most of the talking. And now it seems that pretty much the orphanage he grew up in has moved from Galveston to Kansas. So I'm letting him relive his past while I'm looking around, and I'm looking forward to meeting the Sister Teresa, because I am actually going to genuinely thank her for the way she raised him, because he's been such a big help on that train ride.
Hey, Sister Teresa, the way you taught him to shoot was really helpful.
I know, right?
So yeah, Ollie'll amble on up and then, swing a leg over his horse and hop off. Go, hey, what do you say, Blakey boy? I heard you've been losing some weight.
He stares at you, and there's a lot of distance in his eyes, and you can see he's very thin. I mean, maybe days or weeks before it's all over. He leans forward in his rocking chair, like as to get as close as he possibly can to see you. Ollie? You son of a bitch.
Now, that ain't no way to talk about a strange woman that neither of us ever met. How you doing, Blake? I heard you got a good thing going up here. And I'll go in and offer like a sincere handshake type of thing. It's been 10 years. Maybe he's not an asshole anymore.
Right? Maybe their life has desalted him.
Yeah, like going from like 12 or 13 to 22 or 23. That's a big difference in somebody. So
he stares at you and he reaches his hand out as best he can. You can definitely see he's infirmed and much thinner than you remember. Even from your younger years looking up to him, he was always big and doesn't seem to have carried through to this moment in time. He takes your hand as best he can. It's very soft and very palatable. It's plush. It's like soft.
Pliable.
Maybe.
Not.
It's like uncomfortable the way his hand feels. You're more looking towards something rugged. No calluses exist. And then you hear this voice from inside, a woman's voice. Oh my goodness, by God's grace, is that Ollie? And the door swings open and a woman comes out, older woman, gray-haired, fit for her age. And she sees you, it's Sister Teresa. And you see she's not wearing any of the gownments, any of the arraignments at all. She's just in normal clothes.
Yeah, Ollie's gonna let out a whoop and run in to snatch her up off her feet and a hug and stuff.
She laughs, and as you give it a warm, embracing hug, there's a moment where it's joyous, man. You remember this woman torturing you on a day-to-day basis with a ruler, but some reason this is happiness. This is like a coming home moment races through your heart. Even though that there's moments where she was mad at you or she punished you, but she taught you, and there's a lot running through your head because it's been years since you've seen her. We're going to pan back over to Father Cross and Lorraine and Cody and Dwight. And Dwight looks over to Lorraine. You like to dance? We can have a hoedown later tonight. And Lorraine, at this point in time, doesn't have Ollie, doesn't have Anne, has nobody. And she realizes this, and you can see she turns a shade of red and begins either blushing out of embarrassment or maybe fear. She begins to stutter and stammer as she tries to find the words to say in response to Dwight's forwardness.
I open my mouth about that time and I say, Miss Lorraine's a little shy around new people.
Well, heck, if she doesn't want to dance, I can show her some other tricks. And Cody kind of gives a smile and nod because they are not the savoriest individuals around. Jeb rides his horse off to the stalls to take care of business because that's what he does. Sister Teresa gives, as you put her down, she's like, let me look at you. Oh, what happened to you? Where have you been? I've had nothing but trouble. I had lawmen coming here. And then she gets angry and she like raises her hand almost as if she wants to slap you for a moment. Then she puts it down. Lawmen, what have you been doing?
Oh, just things got a little interesting there in Mason County. I was just doing my job tending to cattle for the Schmitz and them, and things just, you know how things get. Everything went crazy, and there's Texas Rangers on both sides, and a couple of lynch mobs, and a couple of posses. I just left once everything got all messy, and it started making it in the newspapers and such, but I figured I'd go north instead of south so I wouldn't bring none of that trouble back down to St. Mary's or anything. And, I just been working since, riding trails and tending herds and such.
Tears come to her eyes as you talk, and she reaches up, not to slap you, but to touch you on your face in a gentle kind of way, as she says, Ollie, you stopped swearing.
Maybe not entirely. I won't promise that circumstances will never again arise where such an utterance might escape my mouth, but, times is tough sometimes, and words slip out, but not as often as last time you saw me, no.
The Lord can forgive you for the small things, but your mouth was as dirty as a swamp water. Oh, she seems very relieved at this moment in time. And she looks over to Blake. Blake, look, Ollie's come to see you. And he gives a nod. I can tell. I'm glad to see him. I'd like to go back inside and maybe have some coffee. And she nods. Of course. You can see that Blake has taken the worst turn in his life. And Sister Teresa honestly looks like she's come out to help one of the boys she helped raise in the last moments of his life, as this is part of her responsibility. She turns at this point in time as she's helping Blake up, ordering Cody to help as well, who jumps the gun. Ollie, when she says, Cody, get off your horse, part of you also like snap to that responsive, like, oh crap, I got to do something. Mom told me to do it.
Yeah, Ollie will help Blake up, since he's the one that's already standing right there. But yeah, he'll help out, help him get on his feet and stuff. He'll do so, I don't want to say hesitantly, but carefully, because he's also not sure how much help Blake wants. Right. How much help he's used to getting. It's one of those things where, whenever you're helping somebody like that, you don't want to over or underdo it. But he'll at least, he'll put in a good faith effort to, he'll start by just helping Blake out of the chair and then kind of see how steady he looks on his feet and, stuff like that. And as Blake gets somebody else's help inside, Ollie will turn and wave and go, listen, I done forgot. Sister, this is Father Cross, and this is Miss Lorraine. There's some new friends of mine.
How are you, sister?
She gives a nod. Father, I don't think we've had a chance to meet. I'm from St. Mary's in Galveston. Where are you from?
St. George's.
She looks for a moment. St. George's? Oh my. She gives a nod and turns to Miss Lorraine. And you, young lady? And she responds, I am from Louisiana. I come from New Orleans. I am not Christian. The sister kind of nods. That's fine. We accept anyone here. Would you like to come inside? I made apple pie for breakfast and we have plenty left over. And then it starts devolving into something that you weren't expecting. It devolves into like a family gathering. You guys are brought in. It's Ollie's mom, basically, and his brothers, his 4 brothers. They all seem to have incredibly different characteristics. Cody and Dwight seem almost inseparable. And, for the most part, not the most pleasant individuals.
Like the world might be a little bit better if they were a little more separable. I picture them kind of egging the rest of us on,
Yeah. Dwight wants to point out that Cody was in a gunfight which ended with the death of 3 marshals and a judge. Like, this is the biggest thing. Dwight points out that Cody got in gunfight. Cody, the one who's been shooting men his entire life. Billy the Kid has nothing on this guy, you know? And so he's like, Dwight brags about Cody's murderous appetite. It's not something you haven't known. Cody's been faster to draw and kill somebody without question. Kind of in the degree where you mimic your own mentality when you think about how fast you have to decide. You saw it one night back in Galveston. Everybody was a little bit tipsy. Maybe you were a bit young. That man was giving you guys some hell. Cody didn't question it. As everybody had stepped outside, he stepped out of the bar too to say some words. Boom! Cody blew him away. Sister Teresa found out about it, and there was lots of praying and crying afterwards. Nobody said anything. The man went for his gun. That's what you all agreed upon. You saw him reach for his gun. Cody was just faster.
Ollie tends to try to avoid those situations, but, you know, he understands that sometimes circumstances arise. He has yet to find himself in the circumstances of 3 marshals and a judge, but if he'd stuck around in Mason County, who knows?
You would have found yourself
he'll try not to judge or anything. He'd go, well, listen, I'll take a slice of pie. Let's give that little slice to Miss Lorraine. You get me a proper one. But I ain't gonna lie to you, sister. I hadn't heard nothing wrong with Blake. I've been on the trails. I ain't found no letters or nothing. It's just pure dumb luck and the grace of God we found you lot today, and instead of some strangers. We got a train full of folk on their way to Dodge, and this ride has been plagued with all manner of wickedness and ill luck. And we just saw the smoke from the chimney and figured we'd come and see if whoever runs this homestead might have some tools we could borrow or any sort of advice of where we might be able to ride to get word to Dodge that we need some help. But yeah, I mean, I wish I could take credit for coming here just to check on Blake and help you boys out. But yeah, this ain't just it's just dumb luck.
You'd be proud of your boy, sister. He's been one of the hardest working fellows on this train ride, keeping the peace, keeping people safe. And I've seen him save lives.
Oh, I don't know about all that.
Dwight and Cody have a good chuckle over that one.
Ollie will blush a little. He goes, "Oh, nothing. Just, you know, folks attacking the train, and it's only fair the train attacks them right back. Yeah, I got my own reasons to be going to Dodge, but it's the Padre here that paid my ticket, so he's the one to thank for anybody I might have saved, taking shots at them dog soldiers and such."
Sister Teresa reaches out and he puts her hand on your hand and she says, "Father Cross, why did you pay for his ticket?"
Well, I just happened to be looking out the window, saw this young fellow running for the train, and God shined a light on him for that split second. Made me look even harder. Saw that there was something in him.
She turns and looks back to you, Allie. She's still got her hand on your hand. The Lord works in mysterious ways. I think this is a strong message.
Well, like I said, it otherwise be an awfully strange compilation of coincidences. But yeah, I gotta tell you, it's nice to see everybody. Figure it's pretty slim odds that train would die right out front, practically on your all's porch. But yeah, we got a bunch of people there needing tools and help and such. But
she gives a nod. She gives a nod to that. Of course. Blake has quite a number of tools, and she looks over to Blake. Blake, they're in need of help. God has sent Ollie here to make sure he has a chance to see you. This is a moment. You need to do right with God. And then she looks over to you. Father Cross? This is your
I'd
chance
be-
to, like, put some words in with a dying man to see if you convince him to borrow some tools. And then we're going to slide
We've
back over to
got-
Sarah for the last part of this.
We've got several families in need, friend. And I'd be willing to help you in any way I could if you wish it. And call it trade for a trade.
Lord's killing me with this canker. I'm going to die soon. You tell your God to take it away from me. I want to go to my room now. And Cody gives a nod before Sister Teresa can say anything. He gets up and starts giving a hand. You tell your God to take this sickness from me, and I'll be more than happy to help you. Unless you make a faith roll. That's what I'm going to stick with.
I stand up and I move over to him. I say, why don't we talk about this in private?
Okay.
And we can talk to him together.
All right, so you, Blake, and go into the... Cody will help you get him into the room where you have a sit down and a moments of peace or to talk to him.
Yes.
All
And
right.
like as they're
And-
leaving, Ollie will just lean in just real quick to the sister, like, I've seen him do some stuff, sister. The type of miracles you raised us on hearing about. Like, this whole train ride's been full of queerness, but I've seen him do some really strange stuff. So could
He's from
be
St.
just
George.
what Blake needs.
He's from St. George. Only the greatest of priests come from St. George.
So yeah, he'll try to kind of reassure the sister as Father Cross goes off. And then I'm just gonna dig in on some more apple pie.
Fuck, yeah. Lorraine tries to make sure to sit as close to you as possible and away from the Cody and Dwight.
So yeah, let's go back to the father or Sarah, because I'm just gonna eat some apple pie for a bite.
Well, we are going to go to Sarah. Father Cross, you need to kind of get an idea of what you're going to do or say, and we're going to go back to Sarah for a little bit, as we will catch back up with you just before this. I don't know, it just depends on how long you guys want to run. I'm just going to kind of move into this next part. Do you guys need a break? Do we need a couple of minutes before we get started in the next part? Are you all good?
I could use a bottle of water.
We're going to take a short break, and that'll give me a chance to recharge my glass. You guys do your thing, and we'll be back in less than 10 minutes. There's a break screen around here somewhere. Where'd I put that button at? I think this is it. think that was the button I was supposed to push. Are we back? Oh, we are. We are back.
Looks
hey,
like
everybody. Yeah. I hope you all had a chance to recharge.
Hello.
So, I'm skipping the introductions. You know all of us. Rusty, Sarah, James, Max. Hey, we're good. All right, let's jump right back into it. The guys have been gone. The posse that have left from the train have been gone for probably about 2 hours at most. And you and everyone else is back at the train. People are having a good opportunity to get out and wander about. And so there are a lot of people just like, hey, this is good, this is fun, let's go do some, like this stuff over here. The kids have taken up to playing a game of tag on one side of the train and playing under the train and stuff like that, while the engineer has been working desperately hard to do anything that he can possibly do. Bigsby, of course, is just sitting idly by, watching things. And Miss Thompson is, of course, keeping an eye on the kids. What part of this would you like to engage in?
I hop onto the train for a few minutes and go to my compartment and pull out my violin. Mm-hmm. And I'll go sit and watch the kids play and sit down next to Bixby, keep him company, and Miss Thompson, and start playing violin.
Okay. Your sweet, soft music plays and floats through the air, and of course, people are definitely paying attention to it. One of the younger couples come by and do a little bit of square dancing to the tune that you're playing. I imagine it's a bit upbeat because everybody's trying to stay in a decent mood at this point in time. And it's been about 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, so it's definitely lunchish time, and people are coming around asking the conductor. Oh man, I had his name. Good thing I wrote these things down. Mr. Lockett.
Yeah.
Begins coming around asking people if people want lunch. And so he bugs you and Bixby, puts in your lunch orders, and walks away. Right after stepping away, it's as if, you're paying attention to him. He walks away, you turn back, and that little kid with the wooden rifle is standing there at the base, on the gravel itself, looking up at the two of you.
I smile at him and kind of change my tune to see if I can get him to play something even more upbeat.
The young man does not seem to respond too well to change of music or anything. Some people nearby listening are paying attention to your plays, and Bixby just gives him a shoe. Hey kid, if you're not going to dance, why don't you take on off? And the kid responds back with, "They've been gone too long." Like out of nowhere, they've been gone too long. It's been 3 hours.
I'm sure they're just fine. It hasn't been too long yet. It would have taken them, they said, around an hour to get there by horse and an hour to get back, and they're probably just talking to that nice landowner over there about what he can do to help, catching up on our adventures.
The kid looks around for a moment. He doesn't seem to be satisfied with your answer, and he looks to the ground, looks back up. They probably got ambushed by Indians. We need to be safe. And then he kind of starts walking down the train toward the engine itself. Don't forget, he spits.
Well, brave sir, if you could be on patrol for us and just give me a holler if you hear anything, okay? Give us a heads up.
He gives a nod and waves his wooden rifle around and begins heading off, and Bixby just shakes his head saying, "That kid's trying to grow up way too fast."
I think we all did as kids, and then we realized it wasn't that fun.
He gives a laugh. How you holding together?
I'm doing a lot better now that we're through the Indian territory and we're not getting attacked every night.
He shakes his head. That's just craziness. I don't even understand what this never happened before.
Well, you never can tell what you're going to get from Indians from time to time. Sometimes they seem perfectly helpful, and sometimes they don't.
It's very true. I don't know. Dog soldiers normally don't come down this far south. It just had me worried.
I kind of nod at him, like half encouraging if he wants to continue, but also fine to let it go if that's what he wants to do.
He doesn't seem to bring the conversation piece back up, so you guys don't say much. You start playing your violin again, and Webb comes out to check on the two of you. You get some lunch. You, I thought you were going to say something.
Is Webb the talkative one?
No, that's Walters.
Okay. Then, because I was going to be like, I get real into the music and...
Louder!
I'm busy.
Play as loud as possible! Shut up! Walters has been taking a nap or something. He hasn't been seen, so maybe he died somewhere. I see nobody is actually like, oh! Everybody's like, ha 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 ha. So at least another hour or two passes, so it's like 1, maybe 2 o'clock or so. During this period of time, like time is progressing as we wait for them to come back. What is it that you would like your character to kind of do? Because something might happen, something might not happen. That's terrible. I shouldn't say it that way. Anyways.
I kind of walk at a certain point. I put the violin away and I get up and kind of walk around and check on everyone. I'm starting to get antsy for the others being gone, but I also know that if I need to go check on them, I'm fast as, well, I won't say hell, but I go check on everyone and then kind of think about give them a few more minutes to get back, and then maybe kind of start to venture toward that hill and see if I can look out toward that farmhouse.
Exactly. All right. A couple more minutes do pass for you. Nervousness builds up. You're done. You want to go look. You make a maneuver. You begin walking in that direction, leaving behind the train. Do you let anybody know that you're doing this?
No, because if I decide to start running, I don't want anyone seeing me.
That's true. You move over to a point where you can see a bit farther down the valleys and try to get a good eye on the smoke and the farmstead. You know where it's at and have a good idea, and so you're spending a lot of time trying to focus in on it. And you notice that as you move through the forested areas and by the river and over the river to the other side, there is man, I guess I'm trying to figure out the words exactly how to describe what you would see. That's a good way to describe it. You see the box. You remember the box? The box with the stone that's evil.
Yeah, I haven't forgotten the box, Max.
Just. So, it's sitting at the base of the ravine, and from where your point of view is at, it's you can see it down there. It's definitely a distance away from the train, but you can see that in the box it sits in the river, and from it seems to have some sort of rather visible oily sheen coming off it and into the river. The oily sheen kind of like shoots down, following the river along, and you can see as it moves, this oily sheen kind of moves around, and it, by the way, it's, hang on one second. There we go. This river runs in the direction of the farmstead in question. You see that this oily sheen, like, interacts with, I've described it like the grass or the weeds along the side of the river. And they burst into like a serious amount of chaotic growth. Just a little bit. For the most part, this oily sheen seems to stay in the center of the river. But when it touches the river bank, it's a massive overgrowth. The flowers get larger. The grass turns into barbed wire, almost like weeds. And then it continues down a distance. And then, like, you see this explosion of life just take place. then this life kind of like starts reaching out and grabbing, like physically moving and attacking other things nearby.
Well, it's not very ladylike, but I say shit. And I look toward the farmhouse, unsure of who to tell or what to do. So I'll just immediately I fall to my knees and start praying to God for some kind of guidance of what I should do next.
Okay. Make a faith roll again. A 7. God doesn't seem to answer or give some sort of clear, like definitive, hey, you need to kind of do this at this point in time. But you see that oily sheen crash into another section of ground, and it starts to kind of like change the grass, but it also hits a rabbit that was near the water, and the rabbit grows larger and slightly grotesque with horns and razor like sharp looking teeth, and the rabbit seems to like be freaking out and just attacking whatever is nearby it.
All right. Well, I can't have that. So I can't have that rabbit do anything that's going to hurt all those fine people not far away. So not hearing anything from God himself, I reach under my skirts and pull out that both tomahawks. But I look at the one that has all the carvings on it and seeing if it... usually I use that as a guide to pull me in whatever direction I'm supposed to go next. Mm-hmm. See if there's if that communicates with me.
Oh yeah.
And tells me anything.
Yeah, you feel like you can feel it tugging down the river.
Down the river toward the farmhouse, or?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to do that. I'm going to head to the farmhouse, but first I'm going to kill that bunny.
Fair enough. You don't even have to roll. I'm pretty sure it's got no real defenses. It's just a wickedly evil, mutated, genetically designed evil bunny. Something.
And then I'm going to start running. Like my full quickness, my full scary powers of being fast.
Of course. We have lost one of our players, so we've switched over to our map, and I will be bringing... I would bring up pictures, but we don't have pictures right now, so it's just this wonderful map, and you can see our dice rolls. So, hey, here's what we got going on. Slaughtering the rabbit is quick. You jump down the way, leap to one side, hit it with the hatchet, dead instantly. That doesn't mean it's not a rabbit that you would actually consider a problem for a normal person. I mean, like, it looked bad. It had horns, and little horns. Rabbits don't have horns. You begin following after the river. Are you going like as fast as you possibly can? All right. You begin trying to get ahead of this slick. As you race down one side of the river in the direction following it, you know, it's kind of rough on either side, and you see ahead of where you're at, there is a it's like a possum maybe, and it is near the edge of the water. Looks like it was drinking or something. It's in the moment where its body is like pulsating and growing larger rapidly. Its tail is protruding like a massive nodule of spikes near the end of it. It's going through its moment of transformation.
Kill it again.
Split its head wide open, leaping to the other side of the river. You bring your hatchet down without question, just You clear the 12-foot wide river, land on the other side, metal go through skull, thing stops wiggling. You can hear the oil slick on the water like it hissed at you, like it's not happy that you just did this. The hatchet, on the other hand, in your hand, seems to focus in on the weird thing, but then kind of jerk back toward the end of the river. It seems the oil slick is drying up, and you're just following a mass of it as it shoots down the river, and it's like you're catching up on its activities. You move to the end. You begin moving as quickly as possible to the end, and at some point the river comes into a basin, and it pours over a small fall into what looks to be a man-made lake, and you can see that the slick is there. It's in the pool, and as you get there and you look over the edge, the last of the slick rolls over and into the top of the water. So there's this pool, this water hole that these people have built that cut off this river, and now this slick is in the center of it. You don't have any shamistic Indian magical powers. You can't, you got a hatchet. What would you like to do?
So how far is this pool from the farmhouse?
The farmhouse, probably about 300 yards over the edge of a hill. Like, if you started screaming, somebody might hear you.
As I start racing around the water going normal human speed, I start calling Ollie's name.
Okay.
I'll put some power of the voice into that too.
All right. Ollie, you and Blake and Father Cross have gone into the back room. You and Sister Teresa have stepped out onto the porch to have a quiet conversation and talking. And as you guys are talking, it's a general catch up. It is really nice. You know you've been here for a while. You've got a chance to go out to the barn. There's a lot of really good tools in there. If Blake says yes, you guys are golden. But you're standing, we'll say, you're actually at the barn at this point in time. Jeb's nearby. It's you, Jeb, and Sister Teresa. And make a cognition check.
Oh, looks like we're also getting Father Cross back. Perhaps in time for a cognition check.
He's in a conversation. He ain't gonna hear this.
That's a 9 for me.
You think you can hear Miss McDade calling out for you, and that sweet musical voice she's got.
What the heck? He'll catch himself in the middle. And go, 1 second, y'all. I think that's Miss McDade. Sorry, it's another lady from the train. Something must be wrong back that way.
Sister Teresa just kind of gives you like a what? Like, this is craziness talk, you know? Jeb doesn't say anything, and what do you want to do?
Yeah, Ollie will kind of take off at not like a frantic run. Hey, wait, where's Lorraine?
She's been sitting on the front porch.
Okay. I want to keep her in eyesight. So I'll holler, Miss Lorraine, I think I hear Miss McDade hollering. And then kind of give a shrug as I'm like trotting sideways. And then I'll like jog off towards Miss McDade. Because I'm like, we're not leaving Lorraine alone off screen right now.
Oh no, why not? This is not too bad of an idea. I mean, Sister Teresa's there, and so is Cody and Dwight.
So yeah, Ollie'll just kind of, he's not like sprinting all out, but he'll do that, this is me in a hurry jog, that shows that you're in a hurry,
Sounds good. All right. As you move around the pond at this point, getting to the other side, you've called out, you don't know if Ollie's coming. As you're looking in the direction of the house, maybe trying to see if you can see anything, you look back, you notice that a whirlpool has formed in the center of this pool, and the black ooze, or this black film, has coalesced and is starting to go down into the pool.
As I see that, I go from going, Ollie! Ollie! I go, Father Cross! Father Cross!
Shit just got unholy. All right. It takes almost no time at all. The water bursts open, and something twice the size, maybe a little bit larger than a bison, bursts from the water. It has scales, it has fur, claws, teeth. It's matted. It's got multiple eyes. It bursts from the water and immediately lunges you. Make a gut check.
Not bad, not bad.
Let me check to see what it's. It's a 7. What did we get? I'm on the wrong page.
I got an 8.
Yeah, she got an 8.
Woot! Excellent. The thing comes up. You're like, your whole like, holy crap! You got your tomahawks. It comes straight towards you. So let's do some card drawing. Ollie, you're going to get the card draw, but then I want you to discard down to 1 card. You get the highest card of what you get.
Sure.
What does it have?
I have to do a quickness roll for how many cards I get, right?
That's right. It's got 12d2. 2d12. 12d2. That'd be a terrible roll.
I just tried to roll dice in Twitch. So, my bad. Alright, so my actual roll is an 11. Walk me through initiative again real quick. It's been a while.
All right, James, that's your job. I think he's frozen. He's got that side glance look like
Yeah,
my
looks
other
like
monitor.
it.
You get 1 plus for every 5. So if you got a 10, you get 3 cards. If you got 11, you got 3 cards.
Alright, so 3 cards it is then.
Oh my goodness, 1, 1, and a 2.
Oops,
Those are
sorry.
some-
I realized I actually just rolled. I copied the formula from Discord, and it's not my roll. I'm supposed to roll 40-12.
Looks like we got James back.
He looks so very concerned.
So you wanted me to go ahead and draw all 3 and then discard.
All but the highest.
Okay.
There we go. 11.
All right, so you're getting 3 cards. Is that right, James? It's 1 plus for every 5 you get?
Yeah, it's so if she only gets the target number of 5,
She gets 2 then.
she's getting 2 cards.
But she got 11, so she's getting 3.
Yep.
Great.
Alright.
And then if you go bust, you don't get any cards.
No cards.
Alright, there are my discards.
Excellent. All right, so
I'm a little afraid to ask, but I have a red joker.
means you can either go first or you can go whenever you want. You can put that allows you to choose that first action to whenever in the round.
Yeah, the red one is the good one.
You can put it up your sleeve, but just for the round. Jokers won't go to the next round like other cards.
Well, no one's in sight to see me yet, right?
That's correct. The
Then
thing
it's-
lands on the shore.
It's now or never then. So I'm gonna do an attack real quick before I have to be dainty.
Okay.
Give me a moment. I need to reset my end of the call.
Go for it.
Alright, so I'm gonna do my fighting, right?
Yes. Yes.
Alright, so
Ooh. All right. You only needed 5, so you got 1 raise out of it. Now you're going to roll a d20 to determine where you hit. 7 is in its guts. And because of your roll, you can bring it up 1 or down 1 and won't change much. It's still going to hit it in the guts. So as the thing hits the ground, you're chopping into its midsection.
Okay, good, because guts, tend to spill out when you do that, so
That's
I'm
true.
good with that. And then, so that's my first attack, right? And
Yes.
so remind me how damage works?
You're going to roll the weapon damage and the strength damage separately. The weapon damage is totaled. And I do believe your hatchets do 2d6.
Okay, so 2d6.
Yeah, and that's a 2d6 and add it up. Just regular 2d6, not the 2d6
So-
keep 1 type of thing.
I take the K1 out.
That's correct.
Right.
Okay. Now you're going to
8,
make a
and then-
strength roll.
Gotcha.
But the strength roll does have the K1 and stuff. So it's an actual attribute.
What size did this thing have? Oh, okay, there it is.
So,
That's also an 8, so I got 16 total if I add those two together.
That would be correct. So 16 points of damage. That does 1 wound of damage to it.
Just one?
Just one.
it's big.
I'm gonna hit it again with my other hand.
So it gets automatically of the 16 damage. It ignores one of the wounds because of its armor type. So it takes 1 wound to its guts. And so you roll a d6, and that's how much wind it loses.
Just 1d6?
Just 1.
Ha, 6.
Nice. I will make sure to notate that down.
Are the wind rolls open-ended? Okay.
We already determined that one.
Okay. So now I get to hit it with my other hand.
That is correct. And you do
All right.
the offhand
So-
penalties on this one.
Yeah, but I have my special ability that I don't.
That's true, too.
All right, so I'm gonna roll my fighting.
You're still trying to get a 5.
Oh, and I found my throw, and I need to find my fighting.
I know that it is now 6 o'clock. Do you need to go, Rusty?
Probably Jet. So maybe all is just yelling and trying to get people to come in this direction. But
Sounds
yeah,
good.
sorry. I got tacos waiting. I don't want them to get cold and get my wife all...
You
we-
do what you got to do, man. I will make sure to leave Bounty in there, and we will catch you in 2 weeks.
Just hit me up in a Discord chat if I need to know anything I missed. So
Of course.
All right, y'all. I'll see you guys later. Good luck with that second axe swing.
Well, I got a 22, so I'm doing okay.
All right. Well, then I'm glad that happened because I said good luck after you rolled.
See you, Rusty.
All right, 22. You needed a 5, so you got 17 more than you needed. That's 3 raises. So you roll a d20. And you can raise or
11.
lower that by 3. If you make it a 10, you hit in the gizzards, and it gives you an extra die of damage to your weapon.
Let's do that.
Sounds good.
So I'm gonna roll how many d6 now?
3.
3.
Ooh.
That's pretty good.
Heck
All
yes.
right. And then let's do my strength. And
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And
you
do I get
only
an
get
extra- Oh wait, my weapon is an extra damage, you said, right? So I get 1 more d6?
That's why you're rolling 3d6 for your weapon.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I thought it was okay. All right. And then I do my strength.
Ooh. Doubling down for 28. Whew. So
I don't want to die.
28
Again.
would be 3 minus 1. So you do 2 wounds to it this time. To its guts. Both to the guts. Total of 3 wounds. Roll 2 more d6, and I'll write down how much more wind it's taken. So 16 in total. All right. You stab into its midsection, breaking out, thinking that this is going to be good because as you whip your hatchets back in this fail swoop, fast, swift, it lands, you stab it, you whip it out. Its intestines spew it on the ground, blood and guts come with it, but the intestines begin growing fur and claws along with it and becoming an amorphous part of its new, fattened, damaged body.
Eep.
Okay, that's on Jack. All right, so now we start off. Aces. Let's see. Aces. Kings. Queens. Jacks.
I have a jack.
Excellent. You get to go again.
Oh boy! More murder! I'm so stressed out.
Hope Anne's not a stress eater.
Rolled a 25.
Nice.
So then I roll a d20. That's an 8, so I think that's what, guts or gizzard?
You rolled an 8. You got a 25. You needed 5, so that's a plus or minus 4. So, yeah, you can make it a gizzard again.
Yeah. All right, so I get my 3d6.
Oh, man, I'm on the wrong screen. Look at that. I should be on this screen.
That's 11.
See, everybody was over there looking at our messed up pictures.
Plus, okay, so my strength, I got a 23
Oh
plus
my
11, so
goodness.
that's 34.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so... that's 4 plus... All right, so that's 3 more wounds to its gut. Total of 6 wounds to its gut. Roll 3d6. So you don't stop. You continue to rake its guts out onto the floor. And the guts just seem to become amorphous and trying to make new shapes as you whip this creature to pieces. What about your offhand attack?
Yeah, that's happening now.
Oh my goodness.
12. That's nothing for me.
This still hits. A roll location.
Can I use a blue chip to add to that?
Yes.
You could, yeah.
So I roll one more d12.
12 and add to the 12 that you just got.
All right, so
Makes it a
that's
19.
19. Fine,
So that's a
whatever.
plus. All right, so let's roll location.
What was their target number to hit this thing?
5. That's
A
that's upper guts. You can add up to 3, and a 20 is a headshot.
Yep, which will add 2 to your tomahawk's damage.
Ooh, let's do a headshot. All right, so I'm rolling 46.
Yes.
So that's... Oh, I rolled poopy for that. So that's 8 plus my strength.
Yes. Oh. 17.
All right, so that's 17 total in the head.
So she pops it with the newspaper and goes, bad.
In comparison to that last gut rendering, go ahead and roll a d6 because that's a wound to the noggin. 6 wounds to the guts, 1 wound to the noggin. It still has to roll versus the damage to the noggin because it might mess it up. 3. Oh my goodness, it is out of wind in those 4 swings.
Really?
Yeah.
So what does that do to it?
It means it can't do anything until it recuperates some wind, which means I have to blow some chips for it to have some actions.
I did good.
You did. All right. Jacks, 10s. Well, I have 2 of those. So it's going to use on the first, which is the spades.
Wait, I have a 10 too.
What's
And I have spades.
So we go at the same time on spades then. Actually, it's quickness compared. What's your quickness at?
My quickness is stupid. I have 40-12.
It has 2d12, so you will be going first.
So I get to hit it 6 times before it gets to...
Yep. I'm just going to go ahead and drop a white chip to regain some wind. How much wind was that, James?
Whoa. That's a good question. I will look that up while she's tearing it
You know
to
what?
pieces.
No, we're not going to do that. We're going to do a red chip instead. Because, I need this thing to have wind.
Can I get a chip since you're spending a red?
That's not how it works. Besides, Palmer already gave me some more chips to play with.
Alright. So I'm going to roll my fighting.
Yes. A 12 is a hit.
Okay, so let's do my D20.
Yes.
It's a 12.
You get a +1, which can means you go up and down by 1, but that's not going to hit anything beneficial, so you're just going to get it in a leg.
In the what?
In a leg. Which means 2d6
Alright.
from your hatchet.
Maybe I won't be able to walk as fast. Alright, so 2d6 damage. So that's 5 plus my strength.
That's good, that's good.
I'm not doing so well on this one.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Oh boy, that's 28!
It is. That's 3 wounds. It knocks off 1, so that's 1 to the head, 2 to a leg, 6 to the guts.
And then 2d6 wins?
Yeah, it's another 2d6 wind.
12.
Nice.
Suck it.
42. All right.
And then my other hand, right?
Yes.
I usually in role-playing games, I hate combat and I love the RP, but I'm just great at this, so this is awesome.
$11. That's going to be a hit and a raise.
Cool. And then we're gonna do you know what? It's the end of the session. I'm gonna use my other blue one. Let's add to it.
Okay.
Because that's worse for you, right?
Yes. It means you get a better chance to control where it hits.
Oh boy. Alright, so let's roll one more.
Another, so that's a total of
18.
18. That's a +3. No, +2.
Okay.
So
So
now
then
roll
I'm gonna do a
location.
D20. 10.
Which automatically hits the gizzard, allowing you to do an extra dice of damage.
Yay!
So you're rolling
Alright,
3
so
dice
it's
for
gonna be
the hatchet.
what's just 2? It's 3, right?
Yes.
So that's 9 plus my strength.
Yep. Oh my goodness, you're just tearing this thing. It hasn't even done anything. A 20. A 29.
29.
That's another.
And then how much wind?
Let me. 29 would be 4. 3.
You said you spent a red chip?
I spent a blue one.
A red and a white.
No.
I spent a red and a white for wind. All right.
Okay, that's 5 wind for the white and 10 back for the red. So
Any
15
wounds?
total. You can do for the white you can do 1 wound or 5 wind. In healing, the red is 2 wounds or 10 wind, and blue is 3 and or 15.
Got it.
It's either or. You can't get both.
Okay, got it. So this is still all on her initiative because she goes well before it does. You hit, you did 3 wounds. It takes off 1 because of its armor, making it 2 wounds to the guts again, putting its gut damage up to an 8 and 2 more d6 of wind. Oh, crap.
Oh, I rolled 2 ones.
So 44.
I'll use a white chip for that.
You can do that with your strength roll, but you can't do that with the melee damage. So go ahead. You can't do it with the wind damage. You can't add extra dice rolls.
Yeah, no, I meant I was going to re-roll because I rolled 2 1s. So if I re-roll, it's probably going to be better.
I don't think we can use white chips for wind damage.
Okay.
So it's sadly only 2. And it would be definitely better. But you've done 44 wind to it and a total of 11 wounds across its body. One of those is enough to kill it. But as the game master, I'm about to drop a bunch of fucking chips to make this actually not happen. Oh my god. Can you give my monster a chance to do something? Jesus.
No!
All right.
I designed me to be strong
did.
so I wouldn't get hurt.
You did. All right, so it's going to blow a white and a red to give itself... Sorry, it's going to blow a white and 2 reds to knock off 25 wind to put it back in the positive by 1 fucking point. Give me a
You
second
realize
to
at this point, Ollie is... Actually, I think Father Cross ends up being the nice one.
9, 19. Yes, he's got 1 wind again. Now I'm going to spend a blue chip to knock off 3 wounds. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Palmer. Puts it back down to 5. I would rather be spending these chips to actually, like, do something with. Use a white chip to knock off another wound to the head so I don't actually have to make that roll. Finally, it can take its turn.
Well, maybe you should go after someone other than
the melee
Ann
specialist.
McDade.
Since I did so well on it, can I also like have like as I was carving it, just kind of like climb up on top of it so like its horns can't get me and I'm just like riding this thing? I mean, I got 3 turns to do.
I just imagine you were digging through it like an engine, a machine digging through a tunnel. But, no, I'm going to say that this thing's going to turn on you now with guts splayed across the ground. While its guts are morphing and changing at the same time, its jagged teeth are going to try to bite you. God, for the love of everything worthwhile, please fucking hit. I am going to automatically spend a white chip on this attack because, and that gives it 5d10 to make this attack.
What does it need to hit me?
A 5.
Oh, that's nothing. Why am I so squishy?
Because you get to make a fighting roll to resist it.
Oh,
you roll
okay.
one of your hatchet attacks.
Oh.
Question. What is its size?
8.
Isn't she a 5?
Yes.
That's
I haven't
negatives
forgotten.
right there.
I haven't forgotten. I've been adding her size difference in. But it's not an 8 in size. It's a 6 in size. So she's been getting a +1 for all her hits. But it has a value of 8 for the purpose of determining wounds.
Ah.
Is that because I'm scrawny?
Yes.
I am wee.
It gets a 14. You're going to roll your fighting roll, and you need to get a 15 or better.
Ooh, okay.
And that's its first attack on this card, which is a bite. So it gets a bite and a claw. Where's it at? There it is. A bite and a claw. All right, you made a 17. It's not going to toss a white chip into its claw attack. So it's only a 4d10. And you need to get a 9 or better. So you can need a 10 or better to block this claw attack. The only reason you got to do this is because you have axes. Man. All right. So the thing bursts from the water, lands on the embankment. It turns to look at you, and as it's rearing its mouth up, you're just slice, 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 slice. It comes towards your block, stab, stab, coming back around. As it rears for a moment and its body begins to undulate and try to reform itself as you slice through it, because it's actually rather soft, even though it looks large, bulbous, blob-like. It makes another bite attack because it has, of course, the 10 of clubs. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to toss dice into this one. So it's just going to be straight up what I did. Was it control or shift? What makes you go back to... Oh, there it is. So this is a bite attack. Oh, that was terrible. That hits. Wait, you can only block as number of weapons you have, right, James? Or can she keep blocking with her fighting?
I believe blocking takes an action card. It all depends on. I'm trying to find it in the book.
All right, let me take a look, too, at my short list and see if it's on there.
Because I think her axes actually have a defense modifier on them, too.
I do believe that is a yes as well.
Which, depending on their number, if I remember right, actually increases the target number to hit her.
Yes.
Which means that last attack would have missed.
Okay. We should check on that. Where is the book? There is the... No.
Defense bonus is a modifier. Certain weapons are built to parry quickly or are... This is the weapon's defense modifier. The defense bonus is applied directly to the attacker's target number when making his fighting roll. Okay.
Okay, so what's the defense bonus on a hatchet then?
Offhand, I don't know. She should have it in her statistics.
The defense bonus?
If it
Do you
says
have
one.
one?
I don't know that I took notes on that.
Then it probably doesn't have one.
Probably not with a...
Here we go. It's time to start carving the whip out the Bowie knife and stick with this blah blah blah. Let's see. Make a fight and roll is a lot like make a shoot and rolls. First figure out the concentration that matches the weapon you're using. Fighting with knives, swords, whips, brawling. Last one, brawling is used to cover clubs, maces, and the like. You make an attack versus a 5 for whatever weapon currently in hand. Cowboy gets a fight and brawling. Skill empty-handed, uses tone and force, bottle, pencil, whip, so on and so forth. As shooting attacks, many things can affect it. Attackers, running, defense bonuses, large target, small target, superior position, visibility, and so on and so forth. Special maneuvers, called shots, two-fisting, bolos, whips. Alright. Lariats, fighting. Character can break out, average whip, lariat, destroy, so on and so forth. That's not important. Vamoosing. Is it vamoosing? You can make a dodge roll or fight and aptitude roll as appropriate. Dodge is used against missile attacks. Fighting is used against hand-to-hand attacks. Never allow one to be used for the other. Okay. Before we get into seeing your hombre actually hit his target and how bad it hurts, there's one last thing you should know. If you really don't want your character to get hit, he can make an active defense. It's called vamoosing. Because we love you, your hero can roll as vamoosing after the bad guy's hit, but before the damage is resolved. The price is your highest remaining action card. Oh. So defend yourself, you have to use an action card.
Yep.
Man, I apologize. That is terrible. If you want to stick with your previous defense, because you've got the 2 hatchets to defend with, it would be one of your action cards that are remaining, which I think you only have one.
I'm out of them. I used all 3.
Then technically you can't defend.
Yep.
What we'll say... Go ahead.
The defense bonus on a fighting weapon is pretty much you're pairing with it. It's a passive defense, but a tomahawk does not have one.
Okay, so what we're going to say, because Max has made a mistake, the first round of defense was free. So its first claw bite attack that I threw out there and your dice rolls, which were amazing, we get to keep. But this next round, you've got no defense.
It's going to hurt me. Gotcha.
Yes.
Yep.
So I got a 5, and that's going to do the dice roll again, and it gets a 19. All right, let's see where it hits. So this time it bites into you. Where's my hit chart? There it is. The first one was a bite, and the bite hits on a 17. It has no other bonuses, so it's your upper guts or your chest. And the second one, which is a claw attack, and it has a +3. No, +2. So it can make it a gizzard hit, and it will, which gives it an extra dice. Where did that go? There it is. Go back one. Go here. this. There we go. Its bite attack is just straight up its strength. Which its strength is 4d6. Alright, so let's do a 4d6 roll. Ignoring that, it's not a 15. It is just a 6 from its bite attack. Because I'm just not typing all the other stuff out. Its claw attack is strength plus a d4, so I roll the 4d6 again. Which is a 6. And we'll get to that in a minute. I apologize. I should totally not be a douche about this. I should just write it out. Let's roll 4d6, exclamation, K1. That's the strength, so it's an 11 slash 4d6. Oh, wait. No, that's not what I wanted. There we go. A 5 and an 11. That's correct. Fisting. No, actually it's called brawling. Who said fisting? Nobody said that. Nobody.
I missed that. I don't know where that came from.
I don't either. Radio.
Radio's hearing what he wants to hear.
I'm sure he is. All right, so 11 points of damage to the first attack, which is your uppercuts, is going to result in 2 wounds to you. And the claw attack, which was to your gizzard, I missed the d6 on that one, by the way. Didn't change anything. It's 5 points of damage, which is another wound. So you got 2 wounds to your chest and 1 wound to your gizzard. You have no armor, so nothing negates that. And then I roll a total of 3d6 in wind.
Now, you can negate the wounds as they come in.
With
But
chips, right?
With chips. It has to be done as the wounds happen.
Yes.
So the white chips equal 1 wound. Blue is 3, red is 2. And the legend, if any of us had it, would be 5 or all win.
So right now, you've taken 2 wounds, 1 wound to your chest, 2 wounds to your gizzards, a total of 9 wind. Unfortunately, the good news is because what you're playing, no penalties. You have no penalties
yet. So, just in anticipation of answering uncomfortable questions later, I'm going to spend 1 white chip on my chest, so that it goes to 1 wound, and that way I can probably be like, oh, it's mostly it's blood on me. I'm okay.
Okay. Make sure to notate that. You still take the 9 wind, though.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. That's its 2 10s. It has a 3. It's running. You have no cards left, if I remember correctly.
No, I'm out.
So on 3, it's turned tailing and makes some sort of weird motion and begins digging into the ground.
I'm backing away from that.
All right. Excellent.
Yeah, you get that earth instead of me. Go get it.
Man, I burned through a shit ton of chips just then.
Yay!
I'm sure Ollie will be pleased to hear that.
All right, so we're going to end our session. We're going to catch up with Father Cross, and this is the moment where you have to convince Blake about helping out these people.
All right. Once we get him into his room, it was Cody that helped
Yes.
bring him in? All right. I thank Cody as I'm helping Blake get comfortable, and I say, will you leave us alone, please?
He does. He doesn't say
Mm.
anything either. He just walks out.
I make sure the door's closed, and I'll look at Blake and I say, so, do you have faith?
He just stares at you. Lord's left me to die in this hell.
Well, see, that's where people go wrong. You see, Lord's never left them, and Lord doesn't always ignore prayers. Sometimes the answer's no. You see, it's always in His time, never ours. Maybe, and I look at him, and I'm looking to see if there's anything on his face that says he's waiting to, just for that little glimmer of hope. Like he actually does have some hope left on him. And I'll make the scrutinize check if you want me to.
I do.
All right. Oh. 16.
He's very afraid.
I look at him and I say,
He wants to be saved.
I say, you've been praying. I can tell it. And maybe, just maybe, God did answer your prayer. And it was when the three of us rode up. Now, if you were to get rid of this ailment, what would you do? And I hold up a finger and I say, and don't give me some promises that later on you don't intend to keep, like joining the church, or I want a realistic, honest answer.
All right, make a persuasion roll. Persuasion roll. The word suddenly hard.
2.
Do you have any chips? Do you have any chips? Now's the time.
Yes, I do.
This is one of those moments where,
You know what? I am going to throw a white in there, which will...
you have 3
me-
reds.
I know, but I'm starting like this. Okay,
Didn't get any better. This is like
4.
talking to your
Now-
horse.
Now I'm going to spend a red to add on top of that 4.
Yeah, I hope so.
So
it's
that gives me a 9.
It's a 9. That's no laughing matter. That's actually really good. We've gone from a 4 to a 9. Toss the red chip, please.
Yep.
So I can get a
So-
chip.
So I'm just looking at him, waiting for an answer.
God left me to die. And if somehow I got a second chance, I hurt a lot of people along the way. I think this is my punishment. God wants me to go to hell so I can burn for the damned that I've done. And if I got another chance, I guess I would try to see the light better. You give me that chance, Father? Make a scrutinize roll. Yeah, because at this point in time, you definitely see there's pain, there's suffering, and now he's showing his true colors. You definitely see that he is trying to open up to a better way at this point in time.
9 on scrutinize.
Okay. One second. I think that's right. Where's Blake? There's Blake. You can see that he is open. He is definitely a good man.
All right. I take his hand in both of mine. And hold on. This is going to have to take a little more oomph.
I have to drop one another and gonna have to give up another red chip. You're about to battle cancer. Good Lord gives you the power to fight cancer.
Well, I'm hoping to be able to drop a blue chip on this.
Ooh, you're gonna do a holy roller. Awesome.
Yeah. I'm gonna push Holy Roller into working the next one. So let's see. I have a 5. 1 raise will give me a red, so I'm hoping for a 15 on the roll.
Ooh.
For Holy Roller.
Might have to drop a red chip just to get that blue chip.
Might have to. Alright, I begin praying aloud to not just be able to heal him, but to strengthen my resolve to allow me to heal him.
Okay.
So.
Oh my goodness.
Alright, I have that red chip, or that blue chip.
Yes, you do.
And once I feel the Holy Roller go through, I will immediately go into, it's called Panacea.
Mm-hmm.
Or
okay.
I may be pronouncing it wrong, but it is like lay on hands, but it is specifically for ailments and poisons.
It's called Panacea, and you got that right. That's exactly what it is.
It's on page 54 of Fire and Brimstone. And well, I was just looking at it. Ah, there we are. Okay, so let's see. Infection, poison, any parasite or supernatural. Okay, here's the levels. A normal disease, cholera, typhoid, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Next one down is any infection. Third one is any poison, and the fourth one says, the highest one says any parasite or supernatural disease.
Yeah, we're pretty much
with this far gone, and I could see it being stepped up.
Yeah.
So I will shoot for the moon on this.
Go for it.
All right, but I'll hold off on the blue for the moment, on using the blue, but it will, even if I don't use it, it'll end up going away anyways. So.
Got a 10. And you need a what?
Got a 10, and for the highest one, I needed a...
Honorous, hard, or incredible?
I needed for the hardest one. It had listed the parasite or the supernatural disease. It said an 11.
This is incredible. So you're 1 point away.
So I'm adding the blue in there. Let's see. For rolling the extra die. Which gives me a total of 18 to heal him.
Nice.
And the casting for that is 1 minute, and it will be a permanent heal. Now, if he actually has any wounds or anything suffered from it, I will turn around and start healing that up after Panacea is done.
Doesn't matter. You succeeded, man. We're not going to worry about the details at this point in time. You lay on
Right.
hands and you begin to pray slowly and
Now-
quietly as everything in the world on the outside seemed to be going a little bit chaotic. You ignore it for a moment and focus in and begin reaching out. And God sends through you the necessary power and the healing begins. The man seems shocked in his face as he can feel it happening. And he cries out, "Oh God, set me free!"
Once the casting has been done, I will pull out a small vial of oil, and I will mark a cross on his forehead and say, "As I told you, God never left you. He's always been right there beside you. You just had to look."
The man begins shedding tears as he begins lifting his hands and feeling the sensation of life moving back through them. And he looks to you and he slides out of his rocking chair and kneels down on the floor and begins to pray. And that's where we end today's game session. With Blake on his knees with Father crossed. Momentous moment. Because next game session we pick up as we figure out what happens next with that critter or getting the tools back to the train and stuff like that. But man, tonight's game session was worth definitely the chips involved. You guys really kind of broke in there. I liked it a lot. Lots of good role playing. I loved it. So I happily give everybody 5 bounty. I'm going to make sure to write that in the notes for Rusty to see. We're coming to the close. So this is the point in time where people start making their pitches and talking about stuff. The world has definitely kind of gotten really weird. So we want to make sure that everybody knows that to stay safe, to take care of yourself. We can all see this through. We just got to be super careful. And we want you guys to be part of us and hang out with us and enjoy our stories. And so that's what we want you guys to be at, right here with us. So part about staying healthy, and this is a segue into talking about Cassie's work. She sells soap. Here's a link to her stuff. Definitely if you're in the need for something cool and artsy soap-wise, there's also hand sanitizers. I think it's great that she does this, and considering the way that the world has definitely made a change. I hate the way it's gone, and I want you guys to all stay safe. Soap. Wash your hands. Love each other. And know that we can make this through it. moving on from talking about soap for a moment, this is our website. On it, you can find. I forgot to post the date for this one, but that's my bad. I did post it on our social media, but you can find our social media here. You can also find our calendar, and sometimes I actually update the calendar. Most of the times I'm a terrible individual about not updating it. So there's that. We've got pause right now on the other game, on the D&D game I was going to try and get up and running because the world has changed and therefore it has to be put on a pause until one of the players gets his life back in order, and that's cool. We can wait. Take your time, Evan. We're going to be here for you. We'll move forward. It should be fun. That's what I've got for right now. Sarah has some stuff she wants to say, so I'm going to give the floor to her.
I always have stuff I want to say. So we shot the trailer for Chicago Shadows. So that's in post now and getting edited. We're dropping photos and cool stuff on social media. So check us out. I'm dropping the links in for our Facebook and our Twitter. And then also, one of the things that's been very near and dear to my heart is with all the cons getting canceled and the things that make our hobby profitable and a source of livelihood for gamers and small vendors and stuff like that. They're really challenged during this outbreak. So we've been trying to find ways to support our small business friends. So if you check out our Facebook, check out our Twitter, we just launched today a GoFundMe to do additional advertising for small vendors, so that, if you can't afford to support them directly, you can drop a few dollars in, whatever you can spare, and then we can get the message pushed farther through social media and online. To try to get them some business. So
Yes.
That's really important. We're actually piloting this with Cassie and her soaps and hand sanitizers. So please, if you can, just drop a few shekels in there. And we are also looking for ways to promote togetherness and community for the gaming community during this time. So one of the things I want to do is, and Max has offered to help as well, is run beginner D&D sessions for people who want to learn how. So if you have anyone that's bored, wants to learn, we're doing it all online. So they can reach out on Facebook or Twitter, and I'll get them started. So yeah, I think that's everything. It's been quite a busy couple weeks.
Yeah, it has been. I ended up being essential personnel for my job, which was kind of interesting because I was like, but I don't make a life-saving... I technically make a life-saving drug. It's a drug that they use to find cancer. And I was like, man, I kind of just want to be quarantined. But they can't. They won't send us home because what we're doing is actually important to help people out, especially people fighting cancer. So I'm going to keep going to work every day. And if I get a chance to, and to be at home, because like now spring break is over, I have time. I like Sarah's talking about, I want to run. This isn't going to be like broadcast. This is going to be just like show, hang out. It's just going to be us hanging out, playing some D&D. So Sarah, as soon as you figure out how I can help you, if you want me to like give you ideas, write you up monster stats, draw you maps, stuff like that, I am there for that to help new people.
And one of the things I want to do with that is to support your local gaming store. Is if we turn this, if we have enough interest, I'd like people to like pay something small to play, or get like a set of dice or get a book or whatever from their local gaming store, and then that gives you free access. But like the whole point of all of this is to support small businesses that are going to have a really hard time making it through this isolation.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, one good way to do that is if you normally order from the publishers on some of these gaming books, do it through your gaming shop instead. It helps them greatly in doing that.
Of the gaming shops, I do know they're still taking orders, so definitely reach out to your local game shop and see if they're still taking orders, and if so, yeah, get it that way. Support your local shops, because the big corporations don't seem to actually care. They just want us to go back to work. Anyways. Oh, man. Anybody got anything else to say?
Well, for those that are curious about the gaming that we do, but you're scared to actually try it, try and get into the Discord link for original box set. Look at the interaction that we do with each other. I mean, there are times when you'll see just conversations between a bunch of us, including Max, Sarah, Rusty, and myself, where we're just talking about stuff that seems like nonsense or something that actually develops into a game.
Yeah.
And we come up with some various topics from what would happen if a deity, changes their alignment, or what some of the other ones we've had, the loss of faith.
One that I've been working on just real recently was a discussion about where mecha would actually fit into an actual real world scenario. I'm definitely a realist as far as it goes. It's like I want to make sure I can have my game have a level of realism to it. And one of the discussions we came up with is if there was a dangerous environment in which the mecha were needed for the purpose of getting in and out, because a person couldn't normally get in there and do the work. And so that was one that we came up with, and then we started talking about how the mecha would look like and what it would be like. Oh man, I wish I had more time to delve into that stuff. We could be on this call for hours.
But come in, see what we've got. Even if all you do is you read and you use it for your own games.
Yes.
That's the type of community we have on the Discord channel.
Yep. We have a Numenera game that plays on some Wednesdays. And definitely if you are want to come and hang out with that one, it's run by another one of our game masters. His name is Evan. We got a bunch of good faces on that one, and it's really fun. Robin, who's been in the audience, her name is Draconic Kitty 04. She's in that game, as well as a couple of other people. So definitely check us out then. All right, that's all I got. That's what I got. I'm going to put my 3 lines of notes away now.
Thank you guys so much for watching.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. We're going to let you go. And there's a button over here I need to push that brings in the ending credits. I think this is it. All right. Bye, everybody.
Hope you had fun.
Bye.
Wayfaring stranger, traveling through this world of war. There is no sickness, toil nor danger in that bright land to which I go. I'm going